I'm calling this regular meeting of the Stuart City Commission for the 10th of November, 2025 to order. Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Rich.
Here.
Vice Mayor Collins.
Here.
Commissioner Clark.
Here.
Commissioner Giobi.
Here.
Commissioner Reed.
Here. And this afternoon for the invocation, I'm happy to see again Chaplain Edward Skiba from Stuart's Home Police Department. And will you also lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance afterwards? Thank you. Please rise.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, City Council, staff, most importantly, the people of Stuart, I thank you very much for allowing me to come up and invite the presence of the Lord into these proceedings. Tomorrow is Veterans Day. How many veterans do we have in the room? Any? Oh, my goodness.
Family members.
I guess I'm it. I had 20.
Look at the little girl.
All right. Well, let's remember those folks that do serve us in this great nation. Let's go before the Lord. Our God and our Father, great creator of the universe, you raise up men and women that are willing to sign a blank check for an amount up to and including their lives to put them on the line for this country. We thank you for that, Lord. As we come into this meeting, we remember that there's such division in this country right now, and we ask that you unify us, that you draw us back together, make us the one nation under God, indivisible, that you intended us to be. Father, I thank you for the wonderful city of Stuart and for this council, for the men and women that have taken on the leadership to direct us and guide us and help us stay within the boundaries of what's right and what's good for the citizens. I ask your blessing on them. As we come together, Father, I ask that you bless us and keep us. You make your face to shine upon us, be gracious unto us. You turn your countenance towards us, and you bring us peace. Amen. Would you please join me now in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Please be seated.
Thank you, Chaplain. We have an arts moment with Zoe McKnight. Is Zoe McKnight here? Is Zoe on her own, or does she dance with a studio?
Sorry. On her own.
Dancing.
Good afternoon.
And to rise up.
Zoe, bear with us.
Aaron to the rescue.
Because you muted. Good. Ladies and gentlemen, I present Zoe McKnight, and she's going to be doing a dance performance.
You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round. And you can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Move mountains, we gon' walk it out and move that we have each other. And we will rise, we will rise, we will rise. Oh, we'll rise. I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up in spite of the ache. I will rise 1,000 times again, and we'll rise up. I like the waves. We'll rise up in spite of the ache. We'll rise up, and we'll do it 1,000 times again.
Way to go, Zoe, way to go. She's gonna hit the thing.
Mommy. Thank you, Zoe. Thank you. Thank you, Miss McKnight.
Looks like we have our own Stuart's Got Talent.
Mr. Baggett, could you please read the proclamation we have this month?
Hospice and Palliative Care Month, November 2025. Whereas Medicare's first proven coordinated care model, hospice, is a program that works offering person-centered, compassionate care, ensuring people dignity, choice, and quality of life. And whereas the hospice model involves an interdisciplinary, team-oriented approach to treatment, including expert medical care, quality symptom control, and comprehensive pain management as a foundation of care. Beyond providing physical treatment, hospice attends to the patient's emotional, spiritual, and family needs and provides family services like respite care and grief counseling. And whereas hospice and palliative care organizations are advocates and educators about advanced care planning that helps individuals make decisions about the care they want. Founded in 1982, Treasure Coast Hospice is a nonprofit community organization of skilled professionals and dedicated volunteers whose mission is to provide access to compassionate, caring, and expert and professional hospice and grief support services to patients and families at the end of life. And whereas today, Treasure Coast Hospice serves more than 4,000 patients annually, providing holistic patient-centered care and comfort to patients and families in Martin, St. Lucie, and Okeechobee counties. This year, Treasure Coast Hospice celebrated the 10th anniversary of its specialized pediatric care program, Little Treasures, which improves the quality of life of children and teens with a life-limiting illness by providing support for the entire family. Now, therefore, I, Campbell Rich, Mayor of the City of Stuart, do hereby proclaim November 2025 as Hospice and Palliative Care Month.
And accepting this proclamation in recognition of Hospice and Palliative Care Months, is Dr. John Crouch, the Vice President of Medical Services at Treasure Coast Hospice.
Thank you so much. That was very good. Did well. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Could you stand
Really
just a
appreciate-
bit closer to the
Can you hear me?
microphone, please?
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you so much for recognizing Treasure Coast Hospice for the service and the mission that we have provided. And that's it. Thank you.
The middle. Thank you so much. I'm wearing my purple
Thank you. Thank you very much.
hospice.
Okay, service awards. We have 5 this afternoon. And we'll begin, unfortunately, she's not here, but Emily Coyne with 5 years of service with the police department. And I see her for 10 years of service, Panal Gandhi Savdas with the CRA.
Speech.
Come on, Panal, you got to say something.
Speech.
I'm taking a picture first. I did come prepared.
3 minutes.
First of all, thank you so much for this recognition. Although I'm celebrating 10 years with the City of Stuart, I just want you to know that I was actually here from 2006 to 2011. I was here for 5 years before I decided to pursue other opportunities and experiences outside of City of Stuart. But then I did come back in 2015 just because I love the City of Stuart. It really felt like coming back home when I came back in 2015. I miss the culture here, the teamwork, the dedication that all the employees and City Commission, CRB, LPA board members have towards the City of Stuart, and also the family-oriented atmosphere that we have in the city. I've had an opportunity to work here professionally and grow professionally and personally. I've served as a planner too, senior planner, CRA administrator, and now the CRA director. But I'll be honest, when I joined the CRA, I was a little nervous. I had no idea how much this role would actually shape my career and connection to the community. So my experience here as a planner helped me to understand the technical side of the projects, but it was this role that taught me how to earn trust in the community and engage with all the business owners and residents in the community. As you know, I've had an opportunity through your support to work on important projects, all committed to improving City of Stuart. And none of this would be possible without my teammate, Jordan Pinkston. We have a great working relationship. We align in so many things and work ethics that really helps our department run efficiently and effectively. So I'm really grateful for her and my team and the support we provide to each other every day. And I'm also grateful of all the departments in the City of Stuart. Milton's team, Jody's team, City Clerk's office, City Manager, City Attorney, Jim's team, Misty, Utilities Engineering Department, Finance Department, and just all the departments. They all support the CRA. We can't do this without all the departments. So it's truly the entire city organization that makes my department run efficiently. And I'm also grateful for all the leaders that have supported me over the years. And lastly, I thank all of you for supporting me and all my projects. Thank you.
Come get it.
Give me the paper. You don't want it to be in the photo.
Good job. Good job.
10 years, and then it's been a pleasure to work with here, but this is more typical of staff at the city. And unfortunately, this gentleman can't be here, but for 30 years of service, we are recognizing Donald Lesko with Fire and Rescue. And also unable to be here, recognizing Bobby Kindle for 35 years of service with utilities and engineering. Milton, he's hot on your heels, eh? And there's just no way around it. This is very sad. And in all my years, I've never seen this happen. And that's,
Just did the
we were going to provide a recognition to a young man, young to me, but for 10 years of service, and unfortunately, he passed away just very recently. And his family, I'm thankful his family is here this evening to accept this, but Mr. Coonan has agreed to make some remarks regarding his employee and a member of the City of Stuart staff. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners, and members of the public. This afternoon, we take a moment to honor and remember James Allen, our Chief Plant Operator at the City of Stuart's Water Reclamation Facility. James passed away a little over 2 weeks ago, and his loss has been deeply felt across our entire organization. He was more than a colleague, he was a friend, a mentor, and a steady and trusted leader within our utilities and engineering department. For the past 10 years, James devoted himself to protecting one of our most vital resources, the water that sustains our community. Through his knowledge, professionalism, and quiet dedication, he helped elevate the City of Stuart's wastewater operations to a higher level. He took great pride in his work and held himself and those around him to the highest standards of excellence. James led by example. He was patient, thorough, and always willing to lend a hand. His calm strength and humble spirit earned him the respect and admiration of everyone that knew and worked around him. James was also a devoted father, son, and friend whose love and dedication to his family were the foundation of his life. He is survived by his loving wife, Josephine Allen, and their 3 children, John Braden, Jewel Brianne, and Gianna Rose. They were the center of his world. He spoke of them often, and his pride and love of his family were evident in everything that he did. Though James is no longer with us, his legacy endures. In the systems he improved, in the coworkers he mentored, and in the example that he set for all of us. This afternoon, it is my honor to recognize James Allen for his 10 years of dedicated service to the City of Stuart. We are deeply grateful that his wife, Josephine, is here with us today to accept his 10-year service award on his behalf.
Just want to come. And one little one left. these things slide like crazy.
Okay, well. Okay, Commissioner Reed, would you like to follow that?
Sure. My comments, I wanted to start by apologizing to City Clerk Mary. At the last meeting, I did a public record request, and the news did a public record request, but we had different date ranges. So that's why one of them was fulfilled differently than the other one. So I wanted to apologize to Mary publicly, and I spoke to you privately as well. So I'm sorry, Mary, but that wasn't my intention. I also wanted to mention, when we run into issues, like, I'll specifically mention it, it's Mr. Leonard's property. I'm not sure how we should move forward getting some of these addressed. I know I've spoke with the city manager, Jolie, about it. I know the development department is familiar with it. Some of these things should come with some sort of process to have a positive ending, and I don't know how to achieve it. So I figured I'd mention it during my comments, and hopefully a solution will come from it. So that's all I have for tonight. Thanks.
Thank you. Commissioner Giobi.
Yes. As always, I want to thank everyone for being here. It's really important that you show up at these commission meetings. I want to thank Jolie for stepping into the role of city manager during this time of transition and for keeping me well informed. I really do appreciate it. I want to thank the department heads and their staff. They are all to be commended for an excellent job that they continue to do every day, year in and year out, to make sure that this city runs smoothly. I want to thank those individuals for their continued support, both verbally at these meetings and via email. Your kind words are very appreciated. Tomorrow is Veterans Day, and there will be a city annual parade. While it's a very small parade, it's always well attended, which is a great honor to our veterans. So I hope that everyone attends. Thank you.
Commissioner Clark.
Thank you.
I see you have notes.
I'm not sure the last time we were here if we were just right the day after the hurricane or about then, but like I said at the last meeting that we were in the path and Jamaica has had some damage and people have been asking me, and yes, my place where I was born was in the middle of the storm or the ground zero area in St. Elizabeth, Jamaica. And there are lots of organizations in this community and worldwide, Food for the Poor and Global Empowerment Missions and other groups that are collecting and helping with donations. I think today there was an incident when someone was trying to go down and they had an airplane crash, and for those victims who are trying to help others and their families who are suffering their loss right now, I just want you to think of them and think of all of those who are working to help others as we do ourselves every day here. For our community here, coming up is Thanksgiving, and at the Gertrude Walden Child Care Center on November 20th, there'll be dinner for families, whether you're homeless, whether you have a lot at home. It's just a way for community to come out and to meet each other and to help each other. So anytime from after 3 p.m. at the Gertrude Walden Child Care Center at the corner of Bayou and Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, please come out and participate by picking up a dinner or staying and talking to someone, or picking up a dinner for someone who can't come out and bring it to them. And that will be something that will be very important with the community, with either previous building permits or longstanding issues that have been going on with the city, or even to the replacement of our city manager when we get to that point. I just want us to take those thoughts in mind as they brought them to us tonight, that we think of how we as a commission will be looking to ask our interim city manager to bring us some ideas before the new year starts or after the new year starts. However we want to approach that, we need to think of that as we go forward with this process and to make sure that we maintain unity and integrity and continuity in our city. So we just want to keep that first and foremost in our minds. And I just want to thank Mr. Baglioli, and I want to thank those who bring issues to us. And it's not that we're not listening to you, we are, but sometimes it takes a little while to get things going, and some of our staff have a lot of things under their belt. I know especially we have a department, used to be one person, now we have 2 attorneys with the city, but I know and I thank especially Mr. Baggett for all the work that he does and all the things that comes under his purview. And I just want to encourage our staff at this time as we go to the holiday season, as we celebrate tomorrow for Veterans Day. My husband has served in the Marines, and we know lots of other family members and friends who have served. And we just want to thank everybody for what they do to make this place our community. And I don't think anybody could have said it better than what Pinal said today. Just the fact that each of us, whatever we do, the little things and the big things that we do, makes it the city of Stuart and makes it our community. And we ought to be proud of that, and we ought to continue to pick up the pieces and move forward and do our best every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Clark. Mr. Vice Mayor.
I have none.
Okay. I was lucky enough to be able to read the proclamation yesterday at the First Baptist Church on West Ocean. I was a guest of Pastor Darrell Orman, who frequently provides our invocation. 100 years they've been there, and it is important to recognize them not only as a strong cultural institution, a house of faith, but they also run a school. And certainly that responsibility of educating our children, there's nothing more important to that. So I appreciate their invitation, and was earlier in the week, am I correct? Earlier in the week, we were at the water plant?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah,
They
so,
sort of blend together.
yeah, they do. Earlier in the week, I would like to thank Commissioner Clark for being there, and most of the staff in this room was there. It was a very well-attended event, and this was to officially name the water reclamation facility the David O. Peters? Is that correct? D. Peters. David D. Peters. David D. Peters. I unfortunately did not know him. I met him once and didn't understand the significance he had for the city of Stuart. That's our most expensive investment in the community, is that water plant, and as well it should be, because there's nothing more important than safe and reliable water to our residents, Mr. But it's quite a legacy because of not only the presence of that plant, that absolutely state-of-the-art reclamation facility, but because if it weren't for Mr. Peters and Mike Mortel, the city would not be the bellwether client in the United States and one of the largest class action settlements in history, and the proceeds of which will allow us guarantee that we will be able to provide a safe water supply for decades to come. And not only that, his impact on the staff was very evident. And that's a wonderful legacy for anybody to provide a community. And especially since, elected officials, thank God, we come and go. But staff remains. And you could see by these service awards, 30 years, 35 years, they're the face of the city. They guarantee the quality of life. They do the work. They do the most interaction. And for Mr. Peters to have instilled such a high degree of, expects so much from the staff in terms of quality of performance. I was very impressed by that, and I always appreciate the opportunity to meet all those people. And I thought it was a terrific morning, and it was a beautiful morning. So I'd like to thank everybody who took the time to be there and express their appreciation for Mr. Peters. So, Mr. Brand New, spanking brand new city manager, do you have any comments for us this afternoon?
First of all, yes, I would like to say the job's a lot. You know, it goes everything from attending a former city employee's life celebration is one of the first things I had to do, to signing 25 birthday cards. Amazing how many, it lines back to February and Valentine's Day, so it makes sense. And so.
Auto pen.
Yeah, no, auto pen in my office. But no, so, you know, everything from signing birthday cards to, you know, managing water breaks, but it's certainly it's a job that is entailed and requires the rest of the staff. And I can just say so far all the staff has been incredibly supportive, but moreover, I really appreciate the commission's respect and trust in me to give me this. This is a big thing. I've spent 30 years of my life loved and lost and cried and bled at the city of Stuart, and it means a lot to me. I'm a Florida native, but I'm from Belglade, you know, Eula and I, Belglade. And the city, I've invested a lot of my life in the city. You know, my kid grew up crawling around City Hall and that kind of stuff. So it means a lot for you to entrust me with running the ship for now. And I would just like to especially say thank you to the commissioners for having reached out to the staff. The staff has told me that commissioner's been there, and especially Commissioner Reed, thank you very much for reaching out to Mary just now and doing that. That means a lot to us to have the trust and respect of the commission with us. I mean, we're your employees, and we're here trying to do your will and the policy of the commission. Other than that, I would also remind you that Jim Krulski sent out the itinerary and the times to be picked up for the Veterans Day Parade. So he says sometimes you have a tendency to not read your emails and miss the times, so please read those.
We're not going to mention any names.
Yes.
Be there. I'll be there. I won't be at the Wells Fargo.
But no.
We'll find you no matter where you are.
Yes. Other than that, just thank you very much, and that's the end of my comments.
Thank you. Welcome. Can I get a motion for the approval of the agenda, please?
Move approval of the agenda is published.
We have a motion by Commissioner Clark.
I'll second.
A second by Commissioner Joby. Any public comment on this? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Okay, Madam Clerk, do we have any comments from the public on non-agenda items?
I do. I have Tamara Phillips.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Tamara Phillips, and I'm going to read my statement, if that's okay. I believe you have a copy. And there are no kids here, right? Okay.
Kids.
I didn't realize it, but I'm also here tonight for the young lady who performed, Zoe McKnight. I'm here today to formally raise serious concerns regarding the conduct of Mr. Brian W. Child, Artistic Director of the Barn Theater, and Mr. Terrence Weber, current president of the Barn Theater. The Barn Theater is a nonprofit community theater located at 2400 Southeast Boulevard in Stuart. The information below is based on my direct observations and reports from multiple current and former performers. In the Barn production of Cabaret, 4 cast members departed just days before opening night on November 6, 2025. 2 performers resigned voluntarily, and 2, including myself, were dismissed on November 3, 2025. None of the 4 had previously worked with the Barn Theater, and each expressed significant concern about the unsafe and unprofessional environment throughout the rehearsal process. The principal actress resigned after the board refused to address allegations that Mr. Child engaged in cyber harassment, sexual harassment, and sexual misconduct on multiple occasions. I was dismissed after repeatedly reporting a sexually charged rehearsal environment and raising concerns regarding Mr. Child's lack of professional directing qualifications. Additionally, a female dancer was dismissed without cause, and a male supporting actor left voluntarily due to his inability to reconcile the behavior of Mr. Child and certain board members. The following issues require immediate investigation and corrective action. Number one, unsafe handling of firearms. Actor William Silva, portraying the MC, repeatedly brought and carried a loaded firearm on stage during rehearsals without the knowledge or consent of all cast members. He reportedly manipulated the firearm's safety and loading mechanism in the presence of other actors. On multiple occasions, he displayed or offered a firearm to dismissed female performers, including one performer who reports being offered a firearm on 3 separate occasions. Misrepresentation of credentials. Mr. Child publicly claims to hold an advanced degree, including a master's degree in musical theater from the Central Michigan University, and to have received professional training with national touring groups. Independent verification shows these claims are false. Despite lacking legitimate credentials, he repeatedly cast the same circles of performers, many of them young, thus limiting their access to trained professional instruction. The Barn Theater has an internship program for local students, and those students should benefit from a mentor with educational credentials and a legitimate theater degree. Number 3, conflict of interest. Oh, is that my 3 minutes? I'm sorry.
No, you can continue.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Number 3, conflict of interest. Reliable sources maintain Mr. Child's family are significant financial contributors to the Barn Theater. This relationship may influence continued support for his leadership, despite documented concerns about his conduct and qualifications. Number 4, sexual harassment and inappropriate conduct. The lead actress in Cabarets reported sexual harassment and cyber harassment by Mr. Child weeks before withdrawing, as well as other concerning acts of unsafe and inappropriate behavior. Her concerns were dismissed by the board, despite clear lack of consent and evidence. Well, not lack of, she had evidence. Sorry, that's my... subsequent conversations with members of the Treasure Coast theater community confirm that this is not the first time Brian Child has harassed or intimidated performers of all ages, including minors.
Okay, Ms. Phillips, I'm going to stop you right there, not because these aren't serious accusations, but in fact, these are very serious.
Yes, they are.
Accusations being made about an individual who's not here.
Yes.
And able to counter them.
I realize it's hearsay.
I'm not sure the role of the city in this. Certainly the sheriff can investigate conduct with a firearm. I don't know with open carry where any of this stands at the moment.
I did not know during a rehearsal process of many weeks that there was a person standing behind me dancing with a loaded firearm.
No, believe me, I don't want to go into...
And that, to me, what was unacceptable.
I get it. So all the commissioners have a copy of the letter she's reading. If any of you wish to see the remainder of it, you may make a public record request, and we'll be happy to provide it to you.
I have a digital copy as well.
Mr. Baggett, is there any role for the city? This is a 501c3, I assume, a nonprofit?
It is, and to be honest with you, I'm not a forensic accountant, but I was a journalist for 35 years.
Okay.
So I can go through these sorts of files and find things that definitely need attention that I cannot address.
Okay.
Sure. There are some issues that could rise to criminal allegations, which have been turned over to the police department because the Barn Theater is within the city limits, and the police have investigated any allegations that would be handled by the police department. There are some others that would probably fall outside of that scope, like sexual harassment. I mean, if there's somebody physically touching, people assaulting and battering, especially minors, that's obviously a criminal. But the statutes that she is citing to would be more of an employment discrimination, sexual harassment in the workplace, which would be a lawsuit, a civil lawsuit. But I know that the police department have looked into some of the allegations, and I think Chief C could, with very limited discussing what went on in the investigation, because it's still open.
Ms. Phillips, we'll start there, and
Thank
we'll
you.
see.
And I'd like to say those statutes I quoted, I'm not a lawyer, but I played one on TV, so they could be right. Thank you for your time.
I have William, oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
William Rudge.
Good evening, Commissioners and Mr. Mayor. Over the past couple of weeks, we have heard some serious allegations. Significant number of city officials in their official capacity as servants of the city of Stuart. A great many of these allegations are serious felonies, including fraud upon the court, perjury in court by an attorney, fraud upon this very commission, malfeasance, violations of the Florida and federal Constitution, and additionally, RICO and Hobbs Act violations. Now, these are some serious allegations, and they demand thorough investigation. You and this commission have the right and even the obligation to your citizens to conduct a thorough investigation, to call witnesses, to collect evidence and documentation. I suggest you get started cleaning up this disastrous mess instead of investigating the 3 commissioners who were brave enough to bring this forward. The City of Stuart officials that are named actors and had roles in this alleged fraud and racketeering scheme are the following: Michael Mortel, former city manager and former city attorney; Robert Kilbride, former city attorney; David Dias, former police chief and former city manager; various building officials and planning department officials; Charlotte White, the city clerk, including a couple of Martin County officials, the property appraiser, the deputy county attorney. The statutes that are implied by these or alleged are 18 U.S.C. 1962, that was the RICO Act; 18 U.S.C. 1951, that was Hobbs; 18 U.S.C. 241, conspiracy against rights; 18 U.S.C. 242, deprivation of rights under color of law; 18 U.S.C. 1341 and 1343, mail-and-wire fraud; the Florida statutes 817.034, fraudulent practices; 119.01, 162.09, 105.1, public records and permitting violations. Florida bar rules. Therefore, Mr. Mayor, I insist that, and the citizens in fact deserve and have the right to, you, office, and this commission opening a formal investigation into the named individuals and entities and all alleged criminal activities. Preserve all relevant communications, contacts, and public records. Coordinate with the state and federal authorities as appropriate. That is what I am talking about here, because it seems that there were some serious allegations brought up, and the 3 commissioners that had the bravery to stand up and point some of this stuff out are being persecuted. And you need to be investigating the allegations, not the people that were brave enough to bring it up. Thank you.
Barbara Grass.
I'm a little bit shorter. Barbara Grass, 63 Southeast Palermo Court. I've been a resident of Martin County since 1972 and a resident of the city of Stuart since 2006. I am not here to discuss the merits nor the lack thereof of the firing of the city manager. But I am here now because of how you have now gotten into my wallet, my tax dollar. I can only assume we are not going without a city manager, so we will fill it. How? Well, job posting, correct? Internally. Little cost there, but not too much. letters of interest perhaps from some of your staff, from current city employers. Or, I guess, we possibly could hire a headhunter. Whoops, more money. So a headhunter money, new contract with maybe a higher salary, if not out of the area, a relocation package for that. And then there is the biggest unknown of all. We get sued. And there's a big fee. Because of your firing, how much is this costing me, the taxpayer, my wallet, that usually I like to spend at the bar or the grocery store? The answer should be expressed next in voting for commissioners. Thank you.
Mark Breckbill.
Good evening, Mr. Breckbill.
Good evening. I just had a quick comment based on some things Eula was talking about. Is we haven't had, I don't think, any kind of relationship with our sister city, Hopetown, in a while. And I think it would be good, because looking at what happened out there, you know, it would be good, I think, for us to get that relationship back up again a little bit. So in case we do need, and they have a community out there that might need our help through Hopetown. So I just mentioned that because I think, you know, Eula's point, that's part of our overall community. They're pretty close to us out here. And so I just thought it, you know, be good to maybe get Hopetown involved again as our sister city. Yeah,
Thank you.
If you remember, Mr. Breckbill, Mr. Sweeting was here 6 weeks ago.
2 months ago?
2 months ago.
Yeah, 2 months
2
ago.
months
he was
ago.
here.
So he was in town with his family to take advantage of medical care. Yeah. Anybody else?
Candace Callahan.
All right. Hi, everyone. Candace Callahan, Executive Director for Stuart Main Street. Jolie, good to see you. Been a while. Commissioners, thank you for your ongoing support. Mayor, for your ongoing support. I just wanted to give you a little Main Street minute, talk about some fun things that are going on in our downtown. I know it is somber times and stressful times, but hopefully we can bring a little joy this season. I did want to give an update before our events, because we're not just doing events in the downtown. We do historic preservation and economic development. So first and foremost, we have selected our artist for our art mural project, our proposed art mural project for Flagler Park. I'm hoping to be able to present our concept to you in the next few months. It is a busy time of year, and you have bigger things on your plate right now. Historic preservation updates. We have 2 efforts that we're currently working on, that we've been working on, and I hope to report those soon. It's just that I'm waiting on some stuff from our good old State Department, so I'll be back with that information. We just had our sidewalk sale, our fall sidewalk sale this weekend. It was a big success despite the air show, which was also another wonderful event for our city. Kudos to them for a successful event, but I do want to appreciate the community for coming out during small business, or I'm sorry, for our fall sidewalk sale. It was a very busy weekend. I was here skirting around on our little golf cart yesterday, checking things out, and it was humming. So we really appreciate the support. November 25th is our Christmas tree lighting ceremony, as I hope you all well know by now. We hope to see you there. And then November 26th is Small Business Saturday. Now more than ever, we encourage everybody to support our small businesses as the cost of doing business rises. You should really be supporting your businesses all year round. December 4th, 5th, and 6th is going to be a busy week for our downtown. We have our annual winter stroll, the VNA's Christmas parade, which is another big event for our city. And we are partnering again with the Marine Industries to welcome the Christmas boat parade to dock here in our downtown this year. So we hope everybody comes out for that. And that is all. You know where to find me if you need me. Thank you so much for your support. Do you need
When
me?
is the Christmas tree lighting again?
That's always the Friday after Thanksgiving.
Oh, you said the 25th. So
Did I?
28th.
28th, yes.
That's what we thought.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, I was thinking
Don't wanna
2025.
miss that.
Yes, no.
Okay.
You should also get an email from our event coordinator for that, but I will make sure to follow up with interim city manager and all the parties. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Candace.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for doing an update. You should do those more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. I know you do a lot. But it's nice.
Or newsletter.
One more.
Oh, yeah. she
Okay.
does.
Olga Hamilton.
Ms. Hamilton, do you want to do it now or with regard to item 5?
Does it matter?
Okay.
Okay.
It's whatever.
So, Olga Hamilton, 311 Southwest 3rd Street, Stuart, Florida. So, I do appreciate we are still working on the scope of work, even all after this turmoil. What I do not appreciate, the false information. Whoever put in that scope of work. I don't know if it's city attorney or it's Guardian Community Resource Management Inc. continue the same shenanigans. So why they put, whoever it is, 3 imaginary new windows? And then they request when these 3 new windows are removed, they have to be in operational condition. Are you really expecting us to sign this scope of work on 3 imaginary windows that somehow appeared in our building? We had out of 20 windows that had to be installed, we had only 17 replacement oversized windows that have to be removed and 2 original windows. And we do not have any windows in our bathroom for a year and a half. So currently we have 19 windows. We do not have imaginary 3 new windows extra to the 17 replacement windows. I will not address all other issues. We can communicate and resolve it through the email. But I would like to address some statements, misleading and gaslighting public statements that were made by former city employee on the leading position. And I would like to address, first of all, we had our permits. We applied for the change of use on the same day as for remodeling for our bathroom with the full shower. I have all these documents and they are all in our building department file. The shower, our master bedroom shower, was completed. We received, and I have email from Martin County right here, our homestead we received in May 2020. We applied for the CDBG program as homesteaded property and home-based business that everyone was aware of because it was in our application, and the federal code that governing the CDBG program specifically states about this is home-based businesses. So all this gaslighting, how we committed fraud, especially with the CDBG grant, that was COVID grant for 50 years, and it was not 40,000, it was 26,000 for 50 years. And I have a message from our attorney, his bankruptcy attorney. Yes, we applied for Chapter 13, and he referred you to the United States Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 4. And look for the statistic, how many people, due to some different reasons, applied for Chapter 13 restructured payment due to health issues. And when I was getting blind during the COVID, and I had to be scheduled on the urgent surgery because I was losing sight, and that contributed. But we did not file 7. We restructured it. And then when on the powerful position, a person sitting there and stating how we committed fraud, we had our conversation with the federal agent special investigation who responded to our complaint in July 2025. We are still here, we are still communicating. Florida Commerce responded to our complaint in September 2024. We are still here. So I don't know how that very powerful and hurt feelings employee stated how he stopped the fraud when we participants on federally funded program were left with incomplete roof, with fraudulent work, with the replacement windows that has to be removed, and the contractor got paid from the federal funds. So we
Thank
are
you.
looking forward
Thank you,
to
Mrs. Hamilton.
resolve this issue and move forward. I appreciate it very much. And I also would like to refer you to the 2022 Video Commissioners meeting on May 23, October 10, when the CRA director was discussing the vetting process on the program. And they were brought issue with the conflict of interest when it's on record, Margaret Bromfield with Eula Clark being the relative, everything was cleared.
Thank you,
We
Mrs.
applicants
Hamilton.
went through the same vetting process,
Thank you,
and we are
Mrs.
still
Hamilton.
here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have no further comments, Mayor.
Can I get a motion for the approval of the consent calendar?
I'll make a motion to approve this consent calendar.
We have a motion by the Vice Mayor and a second by Commissioner Giobi. Any public comment on this item? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Reed?
Yes.
Commissioner Giobi?
Yes.
Commissioner Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Rich?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Collins?
Yes. Commission action, item 5. Mr. Baggett, will you read item 5 for our consideration, please?
Resolution number 102-2025, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Stuart, Florida, approving an extension of time for the Community Development Block Grant Housing Rehabilitation Program, authorizing the mayor to execute all related documents, providing an effective date and for other purposes.
Panal, are you going to handle this for us?
Sure. Panal Gandhi Savdas, CRA Director for the record. We still have 2 outstanding projects that we need to finish. We're requesting the board to authorize the city mayor to execute a letter so we can submit a letter to Florida Commerce requesting a 6-month extension to complete 2 of our outstanding projects. Previously, we had a resolution number 95-2020 that allowed the mayor to sign any grant agreement-related documents, but the commission has requested that anything related to CDBG grant requests to Florida Commerce come before you for approvals. That's why this item is coming before you. So staff is requesting approval of resolution number 102-2025 to authorize the mayor to execute all necessary documents related to this extension. That's all I have.
Commissioner Clark?
Yes, hi, good afternoon, Ms. Gandhi Savdas, Mr. Baggett. In light of the concerns, and we know what the projects are we absolutely sure that when we extend for the 6 months, everything will be well with the Economic Opportunity Department and that any future grants won't be affected negatively? I just want to make sure that when we do this, hopefully it will be resolved and everybody will get everything in and approved within that 6-month period. And if we don't, is there any opportunity to carry this further, Ms. Candice Savdas, or would that truncate the opportunity with those grant funds?
So we're hoping that we can get that scope of work executed for the Hamilton's project by end of this year. The work, there's not a lot of work to be finished. We think that we could get the work finished within 3 to 4 months. So it's a pretty feasible timeline, 6 months extension. The other project is a new construction. It's at 724 Southeast Bahama Avenue. That house burned down, so we had to go through a whole site plan approval process. We also transferred the contract from Patriot to A2B Development because we removed Patriot from all of our jobs moving forward. So that process took a little while. So we're going to finish out that home and Hamilton's project as long as we can get that scope approved in the next few weeks.
And did we have funds left over Or that could be access to complete the other projects out of the 11 that we didn't include in the first set?
So we do have the remaining balance for the Hamilton's project. So far, we've requested $37,000 from Florida Commerce for reimbursement. So about $43,000 remaining for reimbursement. And we're, depending on when we go out for bid, what that cost looks like, we're going to go back to Florida Commerce and request additional funding. They do support the city and Hamilton's to come to an agreement so that they can move forward with approving any additional funding that we need for this project.
And for the next cycle to start, what's the likelihood of that?
We would have to apply. We're not an entitlement city, so we would have to apply for the CDBG housing rehab program and go through the competitive bid process. And then they'll have to review our application and determine whether we qualify or not. We do have a good record. We've finished, total of, we committed to 9 homes. We've finished 7 homes. 2 outstanding projects. We also have the CDBG housing, CDBG COVID grant. We're moving forward with that for the project lift. So we do have a good record with Florida Commerce as far as, completing projects.
Are we going to have a CRA meeting before the end of the year?
CRA meeting.
In November, none in
We do have a
not in
meeting in
December?
November. We don't have a meeting, we don't have any meeting scheduled in December, but we do have a meeting in November.
Okay, coming up.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thanks. I'll talk to you before the meeting.
Commissioner Reed?
Yes, thanks, Panal, for this. One question, is this being addressed to Graham Markarian? Because I thought he was removed from it.
I did reach out to Leisha, who I've been coordinating with also, but she was out of the office last week, so I reached out to Graham just to make
so
sure the
it's
ball
all right.
keeps rolling with this project.
No worries. And then for clarification, Eula, this is the 3rd extension, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
That we're doing. So I don't think it affects us in that sense.
I just, we can't go on forever.
Yeah, and then also to clarify, I was the one that asked for stuff like this. It wasn't just CDBG, it was anything controversial. So I didn't even know 2 grant extensions were signed prior, just like I didn't know the Brightline lease was signed over the weekend. So that's why I asked for things that are controversial to be on the agenda, so we were aware of things being signed by the mayor. So, but that's all I have. I'll make a motion then for approval of commission action item number 5, resolution number 102, 2025.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Reed and a second by Commissioner Clark. Is there any public comment on this item?
I have no public comment.
You had it on public. 24th.
Okay.
It's a CRA meeting.
Yeah, I just didn't have it in my calendar. I just wanted to.
Thanks, I appreciate the opportunity. We've discussed this at the CRB level.
You introduce yourself, although you're
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Mark Breckbill, 406 Southeast Finney Drive, Stuart, Florida, 34996. A change, so I got to keep remembering that. We had discussed this at the CRB level, and I kind of wanted to bring it up here for you guys to consider. First of all, we're uncomfortable with this CBG program because it appears that in many cases we don't have any control over it, but we have all of the junk that we have to deal with. And I'm not sure that we're capable of doing all of the stuff that we have to do associated with it, including at the last city commission meeting, it came up that one of these grants, these are residential grants. One of these was a residential grant who had an SBA loan approval in. Well, an SBA loan can only be made to business, and it has to be occupied 51% by business. So, we're basically now do they not qualify? So, this thing seems to be a big morass that we don't want to be involved in, and I think the CRB was kind of that way, and I think you guys might want to give some consideration to whether this is something that in its current form makes sense for us. Anyway, that's just the comments.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
I have no further public comment.
Are there any comments or questions by members of the commission?
No, I'll deal with Mr. Breckbill's question when we discuss the future.
Well, I think Mr. Breckbill is jumping the gun. We're talking specifically about extending the existing program. Whether we want to get back involved is a very sensible concern at this point. I think we all agree about that. So seeing no other comments or questions?
I have a question, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I didn't get a chance to hit my light.
Go
I'm
ahead.
just questioning, Commissioner Reed mentioned that there was a bright line lease signed over the weekend?
That was
Oh, this
last-
is an old one. I was
That
gonna
was
say,
last
oh my-
year.
Okay, last year, thank you.
But yes, it was signed over the weekend.
Yes, yes, thank you. Okay.
If it was, it wasn't signed by me.
Okay.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Giobi?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Collins?
Yes.
Commissioner Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Rich?
Yes.
Commissioner Reed?
Yes.
Motion passes. Mr. Baggett, could you read item 6 for our consideration? This is quasi-judicial, by the way. So if the commissioners would like to follow along, it's the yellow sheet. It says I have to read it, so this is item 6 on the agenda. This is the second reading. This is the Spice and Tea Exchange requesting a major urban code conditional use located at 39 Southwest Osceola Street. And could you go ahead and read the resolution, Mr.
Sure.
Baggett?
Resolution number 98-2025, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Stuart, Florida, to approve a major urban code conditional use exception to Glenn and Kimberly Gordon with Gordon Enterprises Stuart, LLC, also known as the Spice and Tea Exchange, tenant at 39 Southwest Osceola Street, to allow a formula business to be located within the formula business area and to waive the required 300-foot separation between formula business establishments, providing for an effective date and for other purposes. You may have a couple of minutes just to make a couple of points before we get started on this, Mayor. I wanted to point out that on the agenda, this is listed as a second reading of an ordinance, and I just wanted to point out that this is not an ordinance, this is a resolution, and this was an application for a conditional use, as the title said. You will only have one public quasi-judicial hearing, and that's tonight. So I just wanted to make sure you guys weren't thinking we're coming back for a second reading, or that we already had the first reading and you missed it. There's going to be two main issues for you tonight. Number one is whether to permit a formula business in the historic downtown area, and if so, whether to permit such a business within 300 feet of another. And lastly, I just wanted to point out that section 2.06.12, subsection C of our Land Development Code provides several standards that the commission shall, that's that word shall again, remember we've discussed this before, shall apply to formula businesses seeking to locate in the downtown historic area. The development staff's going to go through those, and they're going to point out those standards in their presentation, and also give the definition of a formula business. So I'll turn it over to them. Well, before we get that, turn it back to you, Mayor.
Would you like clarification from
Yes.
Mr. Baggett?
Yes,
Commissioner
thank
Clark?
you, yes.
Sure.
Before we go to staff or we try anything, just to be sure that the actual wording on the way the agenda is set out, it's probably just the way the agenda was typed with the word second reading. Is there any issue with, I know that it says quasi-judicial with regard to the Spice and Tea Exchange item, but is there anything that would affect anything at all? I know that you've made the correction and you've said it, but I just want to be sure that somebody doesn't come and say we shouldn't have voted on it that day because of something.
It's not that we did anything wrong or inappropriate. I remember speaking with the city clerk on how to put it on the agenda, and by putting it as a ordinance second reading, it would point out to you 5 that this is a final hearing. If it was an ordinance, we would have the first hearing, first reading, and then you do a motion to transmit it to the second hearing. And so I'm just explaining that we have one hearing and it's tonight, and despite on how it's listed on the agenda, I don't think there's a way to put conditional use instead of ordinance reading.
We've had this a few times in the past, and because it is a one-time reading, it doesn't go under, obviously, consent or even commission action. It goes directly under second reading. That notifies people that it's a final decision. even though it's a resolution and not an ordinance.
Is your concern, Commissioner Clark, that it's improperly advertised in essence, perhaps?
I just want to make sure that we're all clear and that your clarification, we're listing it as second reading on the agenda, shows that it's a one-time, it falls under the one-time final reading category, and that it should be okay.
Okay. Do the commissioners have any ex parte communications to disclose regarding this applicant? Commissioner Reed?
I do. I'm going to try to remember them all. Do you want me to name them?
Yes.
Or- yeah. I spoke to the applicants. I see them there. I spoke to Max. I spoke to my board member appointee, Scott. I spoke to Marcella Cambler. I said your last name right. I spoke to Candace. I believe I mentioned it. Candace, I don't think ever called me back though. But we did talk about it. I'm not sure anyone else though. I might have mentioned it to Audra maybe in passing or something. But other than that, and I spoke to Lee about it. That's all I can remember.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I didn't speak to anyone, but I certainly had communication via email from the Gordons and many people who were giving them commendations as for being owners of a franchise. Thank you.
Thank you.
I've seen some emails. I spoke briefly with the city manager on this project and discussing the agenda. And I just know from the history and of formula-based things and what is something that's not a small, closed family franchise type or small, closely held corporation versus a bigger franchise opportunity. And I've looked at it, and I'm here with an open mind.
Mr. Vice Mayor?
Yes, I have spoken to the landlord owner, Max, my CRB rep, Will Laughlin, Marcella Camblor. At the Main Street Board meeting, we discussed that as the rep there. So with Candace, and also Audra was there, and then staff.
Thank you. And I assume you read the emails that you all received. So, yes, I also, any emails I received are on the city's email. I have not met with the applicants, nor did I speak with them, surprisingly. I did meet with the owner. I believe his last name is Mr. Ducharme. Is that correct? I spoke with Ms. Cambler. I spoke with Ms. Moser. I spoke with Mr. Shearer. I spoke with Mr. Mortel. And I spoke with our new city manager regarding this item. And that is all. Thank you. Could you place any potential witnesses under oath, please, Mr. Baggett?
Sure. Would all potential witnesses please stand up and raise your right hand? Do you affirm that the testimony that you're about to provide will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? You may be seated.
And will the Development Department please provide a brief summary of the agenda item, including location, size of the property, current zoning, zoning requested, and list the applicant's request to deviate from the land use development regulations?
Yes, good afternoon, Mayor.
I would like her to have a taller chair in the future.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. For the record, my name is Michelle Arbizau, Planner 1 with the Development Department. I'm presenting agenda item number 6, a request for a major urban code conditional use submitted by Glenn and Kimberly Gordon with Gordon Enterprises Stuart LLC, the proposed tenant at 39 Southwest Osceola Street. The request is to allow for a formula business, the Spice and Tea Exchange, to be located in the formula business area and to waive the required 300-foot separation between formula business establishments. The .39 acre subject parcel is located at 39 Southwest Osceola Street and is designated by the Urban Center zoning district. The parcel has a downtown future land use. Is within the formula business area and is situated within the City of Stuart Community Redevelopment Area. The applicants are aware that the Spice and Tea Exchange is considered a formula business. In accordance with the public notice requirement outlined under Section 11.02.05 of the Land Development Code, on September 20th, 2025, the applicant mailed notices to property owners within 300 feet of the subject parcel, which provided details of the requested major urban code conditional use petition and included the date and time of the public meeting. Additionally, the applicant posted one public notice sign on the subject parcel fronting Southeast Osceola Street. On October 13, 2025, the applicant requested to postpone the hearing to November 10th, and it was granted by the City Commission. The subject parcel and parcels to the south, east, and west are zoned urban center. The parcels to the northwest of the subject parcel is zoned urban plan unit development, a UPUD, and the parcel northeast is zoned urban waterfront. The subject parcel, as well as parcels to the north, south, east, and west, are all designated with a future land use of downtown. Outlined in blue on the map is the boundary of the City of Stuart's formula business area. In accordance with Chapter 12 of the City of Stuart's Land Development Code, a formula business is a retail business establishment, including a restaurant that has 6 or more similar establishments located elsewhere, which as a group satisfies 2 or more defined criteria. The Spice and Tea Exchange satisfies 5 criteria as a formula business. They share trade name and logos, a standardized menu, food ingredients and food preparation, merchandise is sold, they have common advertising and similar signage. A formula business is not prohibited in the downtown area. A formula business requires approval by a major urban code exception. It requires the Community Redevelopment Board consideration, and final action is met before the City Commission. The merits of the exception are to be evaluated based upon the formula business criteria reflected in Section 2.06.12.c of the city's Land Development Code. If the board approves the applicant's request, the following conditions will be added to the resolution. The proposed formula business will not alter the identity of the urban district in a way which detracts from its uniqueness or contributes to a nationwide trend of standardized downtown offerings. The proposed formula business will contribute to a diverse and appropriate blend of business in the urban district. The proposed formula business will complement those businesses already in the urban district and help promote and foster the local economic base as a whole. The formula business will be compatible with existing surrounding uses. The proposed formula business has been designed and will be operated in a non-obtrusive manner to preserve the community's character and ambience, and the proposed intensity of uses on the site is appropriate given the uses permitted on the site and on adjoining sites. The proposed formula business meets all of the following fixed criteria. The size of the business shall not exceed 1,500 square feet of gross floor area in the old downtown district. The space is approximately 1,318 square feet. The first floor street frontage of the business shall not exceed 35 feet in width in the old downtown district. The street frontage for this location is 24 feet in width. Architectural style, design, exterior facade colors, shall comply with the surrounding neighborhood and requirements of the Urban Code and Creek District Code. Urban Code. Corporate structural elements and signage will be designed to be in harmony with architectural features and elements of the building and neighborhood as approved by the development director. No drive-through windows shall be permitted. These conditions are reflected in the proposed resolution. The image shown represents the final appearance of the facade upon completion. The proposed formula business signage, which will be properly permitted and fully compliant with urban code requirements, will be installed on this facade. According to the City of Stuart Land Development Code, Section 2.06.12.d, a formula business shall not be located within 300 feet. The City of Stuart Development Department, Utilities and Engineering, Fire Department, Building Department, and Community Redevelopment Agency have reviewed the Urban Code conditional use petition and recommend the application be forwarded to the City Commission for final action of approval. The CRB based their decision on, at its public hearing on October 7th, 2025, the City of Stuart Community Redevelopment Board voted 4-2 to recommend that the City Commission deny the proposed formula-based business request. From what I recall, the CRB based their decision on the assumption that only formula businesses will be able to afford the high rents landlords are demanding. As a result, this trend threatens to displace small businesses, which typically cannot sustain such elevated rental costs. Staff received support letters from Patty O'Connell with Gumbo Limbo Coastal Chick and Gumbo Limbo Coastal Kids, Ron Hart with the Dirty Hippie, Audra Creech, and many dignitaries from Mount Dora, which are part of the commission package. This concludes staff presentation. Following the applicant's brief presentation, staff and the applicant will be available to answer any questions the board may have.
Would the petitioner like to make a presentation?
Good evening, Commissioners. Ike Crumpler. I am here on behalf of Marcella Cambler, who had to leave early. Apologies for the second string. I'm going to do my best to present it accurately. I believe, Jody, you have the presentation.
Yeah, it's not recognizing it. Let's try that again. If there's a clicker, yes, right here. No, it's not showing up.
It's nice to see you presenting. You're usually
Yeah, well, say that
hiding
now.
in the shadows, you know.
That is nice. You know, every once in a while, I'll
You have to
step
come out. Yeah.
It's Halloween time.
Right, exactly.
I don't see the drive.
This is where we should do the community performance during the.
You're gonna
during
dance?
The tech down. No.
You're gonna dance? Can you do a cartwheel?
No, perhaps.
Okay.
Maybe. I'll give you a somersault on the ground.
All right.
Okay, it's going to
let's
be
see
too
it.
pretty.
I can't say approval is contingent upon
Yeah,
somersault.
fair. Cartwheel, very lopsided.
Okay.
Not great.
Okay.
Quit while you're ahead, Ike.
Yeah.
Maybe. Imagine it's here. Sorry. You have it another way?
Is there technology
Yeah,
on the
Darren
back?
comes out, it's bad. Yeah.
Where's the judge?
It's not opening. It's in here, but it's not being recognized. Yes.
Let the tech guy try.
I know it's that's earlier.
Not sure.
I have my own laptop. Can you
I do not have rights to insert. Oh, look at that. Blocked. We logged on as. Yeah, because we don't usually let people plug who drives in.
You want me to email it to you?
If you could, let me see if
We're gonna have to go through like it's too big to email.
you pull it off.
This is how
Darren giving up.
Call a recess?
have an HDMI. Do that.
Mayor, what would you like to call a recess? What's that?
Fairly major?
Yeah. Working on it, yes.
Okay. We will stand in recess until 5:45.
Oh,
It's kind of like Zoom.
yeah, no, I've heard of it.
Okay, I'm calling back into order this regular meeting of the Stuart City Commission for the 10th of November. Thank you for your patience.
Indeed, thank you so much.
Apparently, we solved our AV matter, Mr. Crumpler.
Yeah, I really appreciate your guys' patience with that. I was just about to take the vice mayor up on the cartwheel for approval if I didn't get this presentation loaded. So anyways, as
We'll
I said
take the
here.
cartwheel anyway.
Yeah, when we're done, maybe. So here on behalf of Marcella Campbell and Associates, and wanted to go through and see how this one holds up. Watch the batteries be bad.
Is it on? If not, I can click through.
I spoke too
So let's
soon.
just do a full tech inventory.
We're trying to ice you.
I will go through it. You just
Have our batteries here? I don't think they're this side. Aren't they the other?
It was
kind of
now it is.
Okay.
Okay,
Point that way when you do
point this way. Got that? Super. Thank you.
high tech.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, so just really quick, we're going to really kind of go through some steps really quick for the record. Obviously, the process to achieve this major code conditional use, you can see spelled out right there. It started on the 15th of May. We had our pre-app meeting and our staff review. We did some public outreach. I'll talk about that. There was a CRB hearing, additional public outreach, and of course, where we are today in the hearing. For Resolution 98-2025, the questions before the City Commission, as your attorney spelled out, are straightforward: to allow a formula business to be located within the formula business area, and to waive the required 300-foot separation between formula business establishments. Section 2.06.12C, which I'll read just once for this, is the following specific standards shall apply to the formula businesses in the urban center, urban neighborhood, urban general, and urban waterfront sub-districts of the urban district. Number one is the proposed formula business will not alter the identity of the urban district in a way in which detracts from its uniqueness or contributes to a nationwide trend of standardized downtown offerings. As you can see, staff agreed with that. The proposed formula business will contribute to a diverse and appropriate blend of businesses. That requirement was met. The proposed formula business will complement those businesses already in the urban district and help promote and foster the local economic base as a whole. Again, that one was met. The proposed formula business will be compatible with existing and surrounding uses. Also met. The proposed formula business has been designed and will be operated in a non-obtrusive manner to preserve the community's character and ambiance. And the proposed intensity of uses on the site is appropriate given the uses permitted on the site and on adjoining sites. Again, met. Finally, some specifics. The proposed formula business meets the following fixed criteria. The size shall not exceed 1,500 square feet of gross floor area. The first floor street frontage of the business shall not exceed 35 feet in width. And the corporate advertising shall not be used which is visible from the exterior of the premises. Again, those were met. As you can see, the staff, to the question of it should be located within the formula businesses area, they recommended for final approval. And as far as the waiver for the 300-foot separation goes, the staff stated at the hearing, the applicant showed substantial competent evidence that the application does not create any detrimental effects on adjacent land uses within 300 feet of the proposed location. They cited an example of the Duffy Sports Grill and Kilwin's Chocolates proximity. I'm going to take a moment and turn this over, and I should also say, just in addition to representing Marcella, I'm here also on behalf of the property owner Max Ducharme. Our counsel is Audra Creech, and also Kimberly and Glenn Gordon, who are going to talk some about Spice and Tea Exchange.
Well, good afternoon. Nice to meet you, Commissioner, Mayor. We're Glenn and Kimberly Gordon. We are here again to discuss our business. We've been owner-operators of the Spice and Tea Exchange for about 12 years now. Our first location was in Tarpon Springs, Florida, and we currently have a location in Mount Dora, Sarasota and St. Armand Circle, and also in Fisherman's Village in Punta Gorda. And now we are wanting to bring one here. And it's a unique, as you'll see in some of the slides, it's a unique concept. It's a unique business that's very successful in everywhere we've been. And we'd like to introduce that to you. So.
You have to face it. Oh, they said face it that way, but I guess it's working for you.
Okay.
That's good.
Well, just a little bit about who we are. Glenn just, introduced us, but a little bit about the Spice and Tea Exchange. It was founded in 2008 by a group of individuals. The company was started with the goal in mind to bring the finest selection of gourmet spices, herbs, and hand-mixed blends, sugars, salts, and teas and gifts, all within an environment that inspires culinary creativity and exploration. What's really unique about what we do is we're not just a retail store, we're an experience. So when you come into the Spice and Tea Exchange, from the moment you walk in, we say, welcome, feel free to open the jars and smell. So we have apothecary jars throughout the whole store, and as we get on to some more of the slides, I'll show you a little bit more about what we offer. Go on to the next part. I can't really see that. You want to talk about how the store is laid out?
We'll go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Do that part.
Okay, so when you walk into the store, you'll see that every store is unique to the area. Every store has a different layout depending on the space that they occupy. And so we have wood beams, we have wood shelving, we have displays that are made from scratch. We have a variety of displays that we purchase outside, like from Hobby Lobby, those type of things. And then we decorate it with all of our jars and spices and culinary items that we sell in our store. And you'll see with some of the products here, like Kim mentioned, we have over 130 blends that we custom make in the store. We have recipes that we follow, and we make those within the store. Then tea is a big market for us. It's actually changed over the last 10 years. Tea is becoming a well-known item and used item in the United States. And then along with that, all the variety of salt, sugars, and other accessories that we've added along the way.
And let me speak to just the experience of the different products. So when I mentioned it's more than just a retail shop, it's an experience. So you do get to open the jars and smell. But as you make your way around, we do make the custom blends in the store. So we have a section in the store where we're hand mixing the blends. And while we're doing that, we're educating the guests on what you can use with the different spice blends. So we have blends for pastas, we have international blends, we have blends for grilling, and so we're sharing all that. And then as the guest makes their way around to the sugar section, for example, we call that the adult candy store. We have a sales associate that will be out there. We have aprons, and in our aprons we have little spoons, and so we offer the guests, they can try any of them. We have little sample cups, so that would be in that section. We also have another part of the store because we have, how many teas do we have? A lot. Like 70 loose leaf teas. So the guests can come up to our tea bar and order a cup of tea to go, either hot or iced. And while we're steeping the tea, because a steeping process based on the tea, if it's a white tea or if it's a green tea or an oolong tea or a black or pu'er tea, it has a different steeping time. So we're educating, because a lot of people don't really know how to make a good cup of tea. So as we're making the tea, we're explaining the process of the leaf. So the tea comes from one plant, the Camellia sinensis plant. So we're describing this plant. And then we're describing the tea that they actually ordered, and the process that leaf is going to go through to actually make the tea. So every part of the store, we're creating an experience for the guest. And I think that's really important to know the difference and what we would be bringing to Stuart in a retail experience.
And as you can see here, these are different interiors of different locations. And our build-out team, they come in and they actually pull in not only these features, but also some of the local flair in the community. So it really becomes a unique store within the community. And it's kind of a breath of fresh air from people coming into normal, like T-shirt shops, shell shops, all these things, and then they walk in our store and then they just go, ooh, this is totally different. So that's what we really bring to the table here. And then this is just some drawings of we actually have our build-up team do a drawing so we know exactly where everything's going to go within the space. And then
I think I talked about that,
Yeah.
just the what's that?
the jars there, you can see.
Yeah, so these are the jars. This is just, we did have a video, but we're not going to take the time to show that since we had the little delay there. But the whole store is lined with these jars, and the guests can open the jars and smell. There's a sales associate that, of course, is going to create the experience for them and tell them a little bit about each section of the store. We offer samples, as I mentioned. You can go on to the next one. The bottom part is our vision statement. It's creating and sharing the experience of a more flavorful life. So the locations, it's no secret we're in a franchise system. That's why we're here, right? But where we're located, because we are small business, it's just Glenn and I. So we don't really see ourselves any different than any other of the small businesses downtown. So I wanted to make a point in mentioning that. This is my favorite part, and I believe it was Commissioner Clark. I really appreciated what you talked about earlier, and that was the giving back part of the city of Stuart, and it warmed my heart to hear that. And did you all receive the letters that I provided from Mount Dora? And that's one of the reasons we extended this meeting, because I feel like in the CRB meeting, we were a little bit misunderstood. But back to my point on what you shared, we're an integral part of where we're located, especially Mount Dora. We just shared experience 10 years there, and that's why I got the letters that I did. But we support kids on mission trips. Right now in the city of Mount Dora, I just had a high school teacher reach out to me, and there's one high school student. They're sending the kids to, I think it's Australia, this next summer, and he couldn't afford to go. But they called me and asked me could I give him a job over the holidays? And we have actually done that. So we've given him a job over the holidays to help him raise money so that he can go with the rest of his peers. We give to the local food bank. We partner with all the other businesses on every single event that's going on in Mount Dora. We're a part of the Wine Walk, which is twice a month. I mean, that's who we are. Yes, it's a franchise system, but we are a small business. We own and operate our business autonomously from them. We're not controlled by them in any way. We make all of our own decisions, and we integrate into the local communities that we're a part of. So that's what I loved about what you shared, because that would be us, and we would look for all of those opportunities to be a part of giving back, and whatever that looks like in Stuart. But you all did get the letters, because I had a letter from, not that I want to compare Stuart to Mount Dora, but I felt like in that first meeting, we have to give you a picture, right, of who we are, and we've been there for 10 years. And the letters that I provided for you were from the mayor, current mayor, from the previous mayor, from the previous mayor to that, who was also the president of the chamber, from I think almost all the commissioners, from the director of economic development and public relations. And I did that because Mount Dora, the population in Mount Dora is about 18,000 people, and Stuart's a little over 20,000. And we're just one of them. Like, we all just work together, and we love our tourists, and we love our locals, and we all, just thrive. And so I hope that gave you a little bit more of a picture than maybe what, I don't know if you watched the first one or if you were provided information from the first meeting that we were in, but I know myself personally, I was so nervous because I was just so taken back. I didn't know how to respond that I didn't get up and say anything, because I felt like we were kind of got clumped in with something that we're not. And so I hope with the help of some other people that can articulate and help you see, obviously you have this code in place for a reason, and we respect it, because we didn't go through quite this process in Mount Dora, but we did go through this. but it was 10 years ago. So they don't allow franchises there. But we were an exception because we're unique and different, and we offer a very diverse product line and experience that complements all of the clothing shops down there, and the restaurants and the Kilwins, and it just adds to your community. It far from detracts from it. We would be an incredible addition. I went way off script. But, okay.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do the,
A little bit more to go through when I keep the
okay.
lights off. Thank you. It's great to hear from Kimberly and Glenn. I was very moved getting to know them throughout this process, the struggles that they go through as a mom and pop business, which is basically what it is. Sometimes people think that the franchisee gives you additional power. Actually, it gives you a franchisee cost on top of all the other realities of running a small business. So part of the discussion of the CRB, and we're going to get into that just slightly deeper in a moment, a little bit more than Michelle had a chance to even touch on it, but is the issue of the identity. This is a good exercise I think that all of us will enjoy, because as you notice, the first criteria was that the proposed formula business does not alter the identity of the urban district in a way that detracts from its uniqueness. We all have something that we love about downtown Stuart. Downtown Stuart is the county seat of Martin County, but downtown Stuart is where you take your friends, your visitors, your family. It's where you go when you want to have a nice dinner out and walk the boardwalk. It's probably you have memories of your kids playing along that and going to events. It's where the fireworks are. It's where all of the Christmas events that Candace laid out earlier are coming up. It's where you go shopping for unique gifts. It's the heart of who we are. I remember when my wife and I first moved here 25 years ago, was the site of our first date in many sense. So it is a special place. How do we capture its identity? Well, the city's local development regulations don't really provide a definition for identity. So in the absence of it, we're going to, you would rely on the standard practice, which is as defined by accepted industry definitions. The planning profession defines identity of an urban district as its physical form, functions, social fabric, and experiential qualities. Those are what make it meaningful and for the rest of the city. I'm going to go through those 4 categories briefly. The physical identity is the form and design. So this is the built environment. This is what you see, your architecture, the size and scale, the urban form, the quality of the streetscapes, the sidewalks, the lighting, and of course the mix of functions, right? It's residential, commercial, civic. That's what creates the activity. We're really kind of an entertainment district. Our downtown Stuart is largely. What is its functional identity, its use and activity? It's defined by its types of economic or social activity it supports. So you see not just business and employment to some degree, but you see a lot of culture and entertainment, some residential, and some educational corridors. This again, as I should have pointed out in the previous one, these are preserved by this inclusion of this business. You have the number 3 that defines identity as the social and cultural identity of it. This is the human layer. You're 110 years old. You have a lot of cultural history here. A lot of the buildings that are captured their historic condition they were in long ago. So it's the significance of it culturally, the institutions that make it up. This is kind of what planners talk about when they say a sense of place. This is what they're trying to capture. And that is preserved in the addition of the Spice and Tea Exchange. Finally, and I think that Kimberly really spoke to this, the experiential and perception identity. We live in an era in which you can get virtually every product you want without leaving your sofa. This is a challenge for people who are trying to get you to get out of your house and go places. And that's what we're really excited about by Spice and Tea Exchange, because she described they do these interaction with visitors and guests just by opening up. The aromas that are going to waft out of this place are going to be inviting. There isn't anything like it downtown. And the fact that you can learn how to maybe do some recipes or some blends or mixes, this is what people want. This is, in essence, the brand identity that your community is constantly trying to promote, whether it's through Main Street or through your CRA and your collective efforts. That is preserved. I would position to you that that is enhanced by this addition. At the CRB hearing on October 7th, there was a lot of feedback, and it was very interesting. The members there were positive about it in so many ways, even though that may not seem to be reflected at first blush in the final vote, which we'll speak to in a second. They did say they would use the business. It was a great mix. They acknowledged it doesn't compete. They acknowledged that it was complementary. They liked the fact that it would be hiring local people and also positions with upward mobility, and that they're already in historic downtowns. In fact, that's where they prefer to go. And this is a really interesting one. Spice and Tea Exchange has already been here before. It was here for some time, and I'll show you some evidence of that in a moment. But I don't want to skip over the criticism. I'll start from the bottom and work up. There's the discussion of identity, which we just went over. There was also some talk about formula business restrictions, and there was like, well, you know, if you come in and everyone gets approved, what's that about? Well, so the reality is that this process is not predictable, and it is not inexpensive. That's why I am representing here the building owner in this case. By the time somebody wants to come through it, it's really important that they've done their due diligence. Denials are not easy on anybody. So a lot of the vetting takes place on the front end. There was some concern about big corporate conglomerates coming in. I think we would all agree no one wants to see a McDonald's downtown. What's interesting, and it's not exactly analogous, but Fort Pierce has a historic downtown. And they opened, for 20 years they've had the same code. They're open to the corporate businesses. They have a Dunkin' Donuts. That has not led to a corporate onslaught coming, and their code allows it. They don't even try to keep it out. This is the other one that was interesting, and I can certainly, I went door to door to all of the businesses and talked to as many people as I possibly could. And I got some feedback. But that was this one, the third point, the second one from the bottom up, rents going up, was reflected among the conversation and the CRB members. Nothing to take lightly. We're all living in times where things are extremely expensive. Yeah, gas is a little bit more affordable, but I don't know about you, but I get 2 bags from Publix and it was like $60. So we're not seeing the inflationary relief we had hoped to see by this time. And that's reality when this is how you feed your family, and I don't want to gloss over that. But it's important to recognize too, that's not a part of the criteria that you're to consider here today. The role of the relationship between a landlord and his or her tenant is not the role of government. Also, what gets lost in the conversation is there are numerous factors on this. Some of them are the cost of commercial insurance. Some of them are that's going up drastically. So, I mean, there are many factors that are leading into why rents are increasing. Some of it is demand, but some of it also is the cost on the landlords themselves. And again, just to use something from the headlines, we live in a pretty conservative community that is represented by conservative public officers. This is not Mondami country where the government is determined by what's popular, where you can get inside of the relationship that exists between private enterprise. You guys set the table and then allow business to serve its citizens, and that's what we really appreciate about it, and that's why it's really impressive that the formula excluded anything like this when it was first envisioned. There it is. This is a Stuart News ad from 2009, if you can read what they used to call the folio there on the corner. April 13, 2009, a copy of Luminaries. There was an event put on for downtown Stuart Stroll, even back then, trying to get people to come out and experience downtown. You look at those businesses, you'll see a lot of them that are still around today and doing well, including Kilwins. You see April Days, Gumbo Limbo, and the Spice and Tea Exchange. So it was here once before, not the same owners. And the owner that left went to the Southwest to be with her family for family reasons. So it wasn't due to business, unfortunately. Some people say, well, we have a lot of standardized offerings that you want to be unique offerings, not just things that you could buy anywhere. You kind of come for the experience, obviously, and the beauty of downtown. All of these things, nearly 600 brands right there that are available downtown, they're also available pretty broadly in a lot of places. So what's noteworthy is there has been a lot of surveys taken of what we want to see downtown. And some of them go back a long way, but I've kind of pulled from the ones from 2018 all the way up through 2025. Some are from Stuart Main Street, others from the CRA. And they These are kind of like the top line things that came out to see what the public wants. Obviously, preserving the historic character, walkability and pedestrian space for bike safety, enhancing the public realm, maintaining and improving the infrastructure. The last one, you guys have done a great job of that. And also attracting businesses that support visitor spending. I really feel like whether you come to buy your tea from Spice and Tea Exchange or you come to enjoy tea while your spouse is shopping, that creates an experience that keeps you down there. We had a couple well-known folks who weighed in support. Many of you know Ron. You know, you received his letter, so I'm not going to reread it to you. But he was supportive of this and saw its value. The same is true for Patty O'Connell, who also, you know, we know her from her leadership over many years with the Downtown Business Association. It's just a statement that I want to credit to Marcella. It tries to capture in so many words how we feel about this very special part of our community. It's the heart of our community, and keeping it vibrant, flexible, and welcoming to local and compatible formula businesses ensures that energy flows throughout the city. The strong, healthy downtown doesn't just support its own shops, it sustains the neighborhoods and businesses around it. By embracing thoughtful enhancements and experiential retail, we keep our city alive, thriving, and resilient for generations to come. So just a quick recap for Resolution 98, 2025 and its compliance with 2.06.12.c. In addition of Spice and Tea Exchange in downtown will not alter the identity of the urban district in a way that detracts from its uniqueness. It will contribute to a diverse and appropriate blend of businesses. It will complement businesses already in district. It'll be compatible with existing and surrounding uses. It's designed and operated in a non-obtrusive manner, and it meets fixed criteria and square footage. It's first floor street footage and no visible corporate advertising. You don't even have to take my word for it. You have your professional staff and how they outlined it and their key points they brought up. It preserves the district's unique identity and character, enhances diversity and complements existing businesses, fits with surrounding uses and local ambiance, operates unobtrusively, no street solicitation. It's limited to only 1,318 square feet and a 24-foot frontage. Obviously, those are below the threshold. There's no drive-through or additional outdoor signage, no visible corporate ads. The facade and signage must follow the urban code and use muted colors, and it must harmonize with the building architecture. You can clearly see that's why they were able to recommend approval. Before we open up for questions, I just wanted to allow the property owner, Max Ducharme, he wanted to say a couple words as well.
I'm Max Ducharme. I'm the owner of the building. I'm the one who's paying for Ike and Audra, not the Gordons. I think they've done a pretty good job of addressing the standards of the ordinance. I just wanted to speak as the landlord and someone who's invested in the downtown. The law as designed is perfect. It's perfect because it gives the commissioners the ability to decide each case on its own merits. That's exactly how it should work. The Gordons are exactly the type of small business this law was designed to protect. This is the type of small business that Stuart needs and wants. That's exactly the reason this use was approved before. I repeat, the Spice and Tea Exchange was previously approved downtown with another operator by another city commission. Again, we're arguing over nothing here. This was approved before, and it's a technicality that we have to do this again, and it isn't grandfathered in. Now, I've heard people say that if we approve this tenant, we'll have to approve Dunkin' Donuts. But that's a long-term what if, and in chasing that hypothetical risk, we are creating a very real short-term problem. We risk turning away a tenant who strengthens downtown and replacing them with one who cheapens it. Those people are trying to protect against something that might happen years from now while actually hurting the downtown that exists today. And the truth is that long-term risk is no different whether this is approved or not. Nothing stops Dunkin' Donuts from applying tomorrow. That precedent already exists. It doesn't change one bit if the Spice and Tea Exchange is approved. The fact that it's a franchise doesn't make them a big corporation. It just gives them a formula to follow, a playbook that helps small operators survive in a very difficult retail environment. They don't get help paying rent. In fact, it's the opposite. They have to pay for the right to follow the formula. It's the same way Kilwins operates. No one thinks of Bill Moore as a big business. He's the best business downtown has. He is the anchor tenant. We should want more Bill Moores, and the Gordons are the next best thing. From the landlord's perspective, I want to make a very clear point to the people who are opposed to this. We didn't pick the Spice and Tea Exchange because they offered the highest rent. We chose them because we believe they'll drive foot traffic to our other stores. I have 6 other tenants, and this is the smallest unit in our building. This wasn't about a few extra dollars of rent. This was about everyone's shared success. That's the exact reason that our tenants are here today, and they sent those letters. They understand this. This isn't landlord versus tenant, we're partners. The only way I succeed is if my tenants succeed. Again, this wasn't about rent. It's about helping the sales of my other tenants. You've heard the saying, a rising tide lifts all ships. That's how I approach business. So let me be blunt with everyone in this room. If it's not the Spice and Tea Exchange, it will be someone else, and they'll pay more in rent than the Gordons are scheduled to. In fact, we've had multiple other prospects who've offered to pay more, but those higher paying tenants would not be good neighbors. They'd compete directly with you rather than compliment you. And if you think, oh, at least it will be a local, let me assure you it will not be. It will be a guy from Miami with deep pockets who has girls on the sidewalk yelling at people to buy t-shirts that cost 30 cents to make. And that will be one small step toward turning downtown into a place Stuart locals don't want to go. Thank you.
Okay, so open it up
Mr.
to
Vice
any
Mayor?
questions.
Yes. So you had mentioned that these Spice and Tea Exchanges prefer to go into historic downtowns.
Well, the Gordons do. Yes, that's
Okay.
their experience. And that's how they've done their other 3 stores.
I don't know if you guys know this, like how many other Florida downtowns have these shops, these Spice and Tea?
I don't know, like, by number, I can tell you the city.
Guesstimates?
Do you want to come up?
I mean, like St. Augustine.
Yeah, I mean, as far as locations in Florida, you got anywhere, there's a couple in the Panhandle, like Panama City, Destin, then you go over to St. Augustine, there's 2. Then you work your way down the coast. There's not a lot on the East Coast down this way. You have a new store, Delray Beach, is opening soon, and West Palm Beach has been open for a while, been very successful there. You have Naples going up the West Coast. You have our 2 stores on the West Coast, Fisherman's Village, and also Sarasota.
Those aren't all historic, right? Some of those are just strip malls.
Yeah, I mean, as far as historic, I mean, all of ours are in historic locations in Florida. Fisherman's Village, Mount Dora.
Do you have any idea how
St. Armand
many-
Circle's been there a long time.
Yes. Do you have any idea how many of these Spice and Tea Exchanges are in Florida?
I would say at least 10 to 12 are in Florida.
They're like 96 total.
Yeah.
In the US?
They're nationwide. But if you look on the website, it's going to be mostly in historic or downtown markets where the people are walking and shopping. They're not going to be out where Publix and all these strip malls are. They're going to be in a smaller community because we need people coming for the day to spend the day or the weekend in these communities, and that's what really drives our business. And these other businesses that are down here, they thrive on people walking by their door. I mean, I feel like there's certain stores that people will get up and say, hey, we should go down and look for this item. But our store, people aren't getting up in the morning, hey, I need spices or I need teas. You know, you have some locals that do that because we've been there for 10 years now, but people that are walking by our store, they see our door open, they smell it, and they said, oh, we should go in here. And then we create a new guest at that time. So
Does it seem like Spice and Tea Exchanges are, like, it's a growing market? Like more of these locations are going in?
it was growing for a while. It's actually slowed down for a while. I don't think there's a big push like these other franchises. They're going to have hundreds or thousands of locations in the next 10, 15 years. I'm thinking they may double in the next 5 to 10 years, the quantity across the country, just because people really need to pick where a store is going to be successful. And that's what takes the time. And then if you find a good location, like we've had to wait, like Fisherman's Village, we waited 3 years to get in there because we knew that was a good location. Like St. Armand Circle, well, we had the hurricane last year, so there's some availability now, but before that, you couldn't get in down there. You couldn't get in because everybody wanted to be there. Small businesses wanted to be there. So it's really just, hey, if I'm going to invest this kind of money into open a business, I want to be in a successful location. And we've learned that over the last 10 years.
That was one of the concerns because if it was there in 2009,
Again, so
Yeah.
that wasn't the goal.
I know it was 08 happened, so, there's that.
Well, that was a family reason that motivated them to, the previous owner.
No,
to
I'm
move.
not saying it was you guys. I'm just saying generally this type of a business downtown, if it didn't do well in 09. Just a thought.
This is no comment on how they performed economically. It was a family reason as to why she moved to the southwest.
But generally, these are very successful, and you would say they're trending up. We're seeing more of these. So would you say that they're trendy? This is,
No, I think
No?
the only trend that's really gone up in the last is
It's the tea.
spices and herbs have been around for years, right? It was the trading, it was money, right, back
Yes.
in the day. So those are always going to be around, and we just offer a different, unique spin on it because we create our own blends for food. So you can come in our store and say, I'm cooking steak tonight. What do you recommend? So we can take the regular person that's going to cook something at home, and we can take it to another level just by adding a blend to it. We can make that chicken, that steak, that fish taste amazing. So, but really the increase we've seen in the last 10 years is the tea market. So tea in the world right now is number 2 consumed beverage. In the United States, it's number 5. So you have soft drinks, you have energy drinks, you have, of course, water is number 1, but you have coffee. But tea is actually is I think 60% of our business now is tea and tea accessories. It's just really taken off. So that's really the push, and that's how. And we also do. We have a wholesale market. So we work with restaurants, we work with hotels, we work with private people that want to collaborate with us, and we give them wholesale pricing so they can take our product and enhance what they're doing. So we have quite a few wholesale customers throughout Florida.
with regard to the previous spice and tea in 2009, was that before our code made these changes? When I look at the ordinance, it's ordinance number 2010 around formula business. So I think it's good that you use that as a reference, but I do believe that that previous spice and tea was before we made this formula business change for downtown formula.
No, I don't have the dates in front of me, but I did a little research on the Formula Business Code, and that's something that's existed in the city for some time, and it's gone through discussions and review. So it wasn't like instituted out of the blue in '09, and that just happened to be the '09 date. Don't overly fixate on that, please. It just happens to be when they were name-checked as part of a promotional event downtown.
Maybe they predated that formula business is the point I'm making because it was in 2010.
Well, the Formula Business.
I don't believe so.
No,
I think 2005.
Yeah. Was that the original?
Yeah.
Just to jump in
So was
here,
it not a franchise
It was
at that
indeed
time?
2005 when the original version of this came out. It was tweaked further after the fact, and that's why the 2009 version is the version you see today.
Okay.
2005 was really when we started to see this decision in the code to put more restriction and or control on formula businesses being a part of the
Was
downtown.
it 05?
05, yes,
So
sir.
this may be too deep of a question. Did it go through that? Was it a franchise at that time, a formula business in 09? And if so, did it go through the conditional use process at that point?
We do not know, and it's really not apropos to this particular discussion.
I think it's
understand.
relevant if you have precedent that it already went through the conditional use process.
We do not have that,
Okay.
but that is also not one of our
'Cause
criteria.
if we're making that point with it being there in 09.
No, I understand, yes. So the reason why that was brought up, I believe, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but it is to show that this has been something that has been considered compatible, has been considered a part of the identity, has been considered a part of the criteria, and have met that criteria at some point. Now, do we know absolutely if that tea or spice and tea exchange went through the process you're seeing today? I cannot tell you that, and I cannot assure you of that because the process has changed over time, but it most likely went through some level of process because it was after that 2005 date.
But we don't know.
So actually, yeah, Max just informed me that Stephen Vitale was the landlord of the previous site, and they did go through the process, according to Stephen.
So do we have, I mean, that's something that would be important for this conversation, I would say, if that precedent is there.
Well, they existed, right? So we do know that. So
Okay.
that
Well, it would be important as far as the criteria. It's been held by a prior commission to meet the criteria, at least as far as identity, as far as compatibility, as far as not detracting, as far as meeting the items that you, the city commission, are tasked to review this under. So it has been found, at least at one point in 2009, based off of the new information, to have met that criteria. Now, you, as always, via this particular process, you have control and ability to reevaluate. However, nothing has changed except the operator.
And I think to the point of, I was trying to get at the trendiness of it because of, item number 1 in conditional use approval that, and to some extent, this is subjective. There's no tangible metric on number 1, but, it can't detract from the uniqueness or contribute to a nationwide trend of standardized downtown offerings. And if we are seeing more of these happening, I think you could make a case that it might be that. But that I think that's one point. But really, the major issue is the 300 feet. I think that is a metric that is indisputable. And the real question is, where's the next closest formula business to this proposed one? How far are you? You're 0 feet, right? So it's tough here,
Well, how close is Kilwins to Duffy's?
How many
Inside
feet?
of 300 feet.
That would be an exception.
So, I mean, these already exist, which is why your staff identified.
But do you see the point? It's at what point do we stop? If distance matters, right? If part of this being in the code is 300 feet is saying, hey, that's too close. 0 feet would be very close. I mean, it's as close as you could be. Your wall mates, right? So
Is the precedent based on length, or is it based on the fact that the 300 feet has been breached before?
I mean, you're asking me to interpret the intent of the code?
No, just to basically, I think it's pretty straightforward. Proximity, that question has been already addressed. And by current uses, currently approved uses, the waiver has been something that it's already been made an exception for.
The 300 feet?
Yeah.
When was the last time?
Well, that's why we mentioned Kilwins. Your staff actually cited Kilwins' proximity to Duffy's. So as one example of inside the 300 feet.
And to your point, in terms of rent prices and market, I don't think that's, sorry.
One other thing,
Sure.
I apologize.
It's okay.
I was just informed that Mr. Vitale did indeed go through this entire process when I believe it was Duffy's that came on board after Kilwins was already grandfathered in. True, you have the control. That's one of the things of the process. But there has been a decision at one point in our past, at multiple points actually, where that 300 feet has been held to be not as important as bringing in a solid business into the downtown if it meets the other criteria. Now, of course, that does not bind you, but it is a...
Right. I don't need you to tell me the authority we have. In terms of the character, right? In terms of number 1, right? Is this going to alter the identity of the urban district and its uniqueness? You have a metric in 300 feet. You don't have a metric in number 1 on its own, but if we're going to say that having formula businesses within the downtown area, that if it's going to happen, that 300 feet is where we're saying, okay, we're getting tight here. Now we're starting to lose our uniqueness, would be my point. I get your point that it's something we can waive if we really like these guys. And listen, I don't mean to come off overly critical with you. I'm just hanging on. I have weighed this more. I've had conversations with Max. I've gone back and forth on this probably more than anything recently. Audra, you heard me at the meeting. I mean, I was going back and forth. I'm just hammering the points right now that have been sticking points for me. You guys are amazing. Your business is awesome. My wife will spend way too much money at it. I know how great this would be for downtown in terms of a small business, but my concern is the uniqueness of downtown. And to the point I was going to make, I don't think it's the job of this commission or the CRB to get into the financials of rent specifically and try to set market rates, and this kind of a thing. But what we're asking this body to do is effectively open a new market to give that landlord new options at who might be able to rent there. So I think you could make your point in that, we should not be dictating between landlord and tenant, but also this decision, and it's not for me the reasons why I would make a decision here, but to sort of counter and maybe not counter, add more nuance to your point. Either way, it does affect the market because we are opening up a new market by allowing, we're not tightening the range of who can be there. We are making an exception that allows anybody to be there, which is a much larger demographic.
I think there's two separate questions before you.
Sure.
One of it is, does it meet the standards, the formula standards for that district, right? And the other one is, does it warrant a waiver, right? So they're two separate issues. In both cases,
warranting a waiver.
Does it warrant the waiver of the 300 feet distance, right? We can go back to, can you pull back the presentation of mine for just 1 second, please, Michelle?
But that's a...
I'm just looking at the agenda item as laid out by your staff. So right here, these are the questions before you, pulled exactly from the resolution, no change to the language whatsoever. 1, to allow a formula business to be located within the formula business area. So ascertaining that depends on the 6 different aspects that we went through earlier. The next one is to waive the required 300-foot separation between formula businesses.
Can I interrupt you?
Of course.
That sentence is a little bit confusing, number one.
The first one.
We're allowing a formula business in an area that excludes formula businesses.
We
it's
can
not
look
a
at
formula business area. That would be the greater city, but this is the one area of the city where we exclude formula business.
So we can pull up the agenda itself because this is exactly as it was written. It's not my phraseology.
Just a little confusing, just maybe for the record.
You talk to staff about that part.
Jody's perfect, how dare you?
She is, but it's okay. So just to clarify, first, it didn't prohibit it. What it says is it can come in with approval. So it's not a prohibition. It is, we require a certain level of control. We require a certain level of understanding of what's going in there before you can.
Correct.
But the 300 feet, just to get back to it.
Yes.
So you can choose to allow this exception of the 300 feet and decide against it in the future at any time with anybody. So to say that you are creating a precedent by allowing, by still insisting on the 300 feet, even though, like you said, the concept is wonderful, even though, like you said, you truly believe this will be an addition that brings life, even more life to downtown, you do have the ability to reinstate other conditions, but also make sure that you continue at another later point with another applicant, if you so choose, to reinstate that with no pushback because this is a conditional use approval.
Can I make a point?
Of course.
So to that point, right? I get the concept of you're waiving the 300-foot rule because this is such a great business, but the same kind of thing could have happened with many other units downtown that fit the criteria otherwise, right? Hypothetically, we could even waive the 1,500 square foot thing in a conditional use, and Guggen could be Starbucks. Any of those perfect little charming downtown, truly mom and pop, no offense, you guys are great, but it could have been, Black Marlin could have been a slightly off franchise. It's not Carrabba's, but it's, somewhere in between. Where do you draw that line of demarcation? And, for me, I hear you, Max, on if it's not these guys, it's going to be the Miami T-shirt shops and girls on the sidewalk in bikinis. But that feels like terrorism to me when you're saying that to me. And
It just creates a vivid picture, that's all we think. You know.
Yeah.
Just
Yes.
colorful, he's got a very colorful
Yes.
portal, draws the picture of it. That's definitely, obviously, we know what we want to protect and do downtown.
But
Go
this is what I'll end with, because these are just, I'm kind of sharing my thoughts out. Is
I appreciate that.
if we continue to do this kind of a thing, my concern is that we're going to see more and more chains within 300 feet downtown. And I love the nature of that, of your business, but I do fear that would be the future. And, we'll see how everybody else feels, but for me, those are my concerns going forward, that I don't want to see that happen to this downtown. This is a really cool business, but it is trendy. It's happening in a lot of coastal downtowns, and we'll double over and I want downtown Stuart to be different. And my hope is that some, other cool shop might come in and not be just a T-shirt shop from Miami. If I don't open the gates to in this particular parcel of franchise.
Well, arguably those gates are open. So I want to go back to a couple things you said. They were open with V2. They were open with Kilwins. They were open with Duffy's. They were open with Mulligan's. You have formula businesses downtown. It's interesting because we revisited a lot of the conversation around
But
the
if
time.
I was here, I may not have voted on that.
Okay, but the law is the law, not like that as it exists today, right? We don't base the law on who was in charge X number of years ago. This is a law now.
Conditional use you do.
Well, the conditional use, applying the formula and the word shall, which I believe council emphasized the significance thereof at the top of the meeting, it's an important factor to keep in mind.
But that requires me to waive the 300-foot designation.
Of which there are a couple aspects, and another one is the fact that that's already been waived. So precedent for its waiver well
Not
exists.
in this case.
In existing use. If we go outside right now and grab a burger at Duffy's and go get a ice cream cone at Kilwins, we're not walking more than 300 feet to do it.
So if your contention is that
It's your staff's contention.
that precedent is there, then what is the point of even having this in our code? If anybody should be able to come in and we can't say no. Clearly, that makes no sense.
It did not anybody, didn't say anybody. You have to meet the
It
criteria.
meets the other criteria.
So just kind of getting, this is why it's so important, because this is a fascinating theoretical debate, united by a common theme. We don't want to see the identity of downtown Stuart compromised.
Agreed.
That's where we're 100% agreement.
You got it.
Now, so that's why it's so important here. That's why I stick to the words on the page. I don't like to read to adults on a PowerPoint. It feels infantile, and I'm not trying to do that. But the reason why, and I'm not going to do it again, but the reason why is because we don't have to just do the exercise, even though it is good Sudoku for the mind, right? But that's why you guys have this in place. Those thresholds weren't just arbitrary, by the way. The 13-foot threshold as far as your square footage, and also even like the length of the storefront, I'm told that was based on some other downtown areas where like the Gap might go and purchase a lot of storefront. Maybe they're not doing as good there, so they kind of just let that one sit on their books and they bottle it up and tie it up. So obviously no one wants to see that. Just like no one wants to see an empty downtown storefront. I mean, it's bad for everybody. So that's why this criteria is so key. Obviously, I gave extra time and attention to the first one out of respect for the debate that took place at the CRB, and also the fact that it isn't defined in your LDRs, so that punts you to another criteria to consider. But I mean, we are, on this 300-foot, which is where I fall on the expertise of your staff. They went to existing precedent. And hence the things you have by which to make a decision. I do really appreciate the fact that you're open about grappling with this issue, because I'm sure just like to you, as it is to me, to all of us, downtown is deeply personal, and its character and identity is key. And I had the privilege, like I say, of talking to a lot of different shop owners. It was really great, because a couple people, it's kind of good to do that old school kind of, door knocking, basically. You hear people's honest, raw opinions. Yep. everyone was very considerate. Some people were, one lady in particular was a little on the fence, but they all said one thing: I don't want another clothing shop.
Yeah.
There are too many. We have too many, and we're competing with each other. I want something that's different than that. I only had one lady who really wasn't very friendly, and that's fine. That's reality. It's decent odds, though. So,
Kind of you not to say it.
exactly. But, is there any other questions?
That's all for me. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Commissioner Reed was next.
Oh, you're next.
Yeah, I don't think the intent of the formula business was particularly towards the spice and tea exchange. I think most of us have moral compasses that wouldn't want Starbucks here, McDonald's, and the whole 9 yards. My opinion is let the consumers decide. I mean, if the spice and tea exchange isn't going to make it, downtown Stewart's going to let them know they won't patronize them. But that's where I stand on it. And as far as the 300 square foot separation, that might have been the intent to limit it. As far as our land development code, we never even looked at this during the zoning in progress. It might be something to go back and look at, Vice Mayor Collins, just to see if there should be a hard number established in there that you don't want formula-based businesses, but.
It is 300 feet.
Yeah, I'm talking about like if there's only 5 allowed in downtown and, you know what I mean? Like a hard number of actually formula-based businesses, even if they did get exceptions in the code. And I think that would further protect downtown Stewart then, if that's what our concern is. But I say let the consumers decide.
I appreciate that market-friendly attitude too. Just a quick thing. Another local government that experimented with some pretty restrictive stuff and does, in fact, experiment with restrictive stuff was Lake Worth. You know anything about Lake Worth? They've got some interesting ideas of how far governance can go. And they tried to prevent anybody even remotely in this realm from coming in. It didn't work. It hurt their downtown. They had to walk it back quite a bit. So you can mean well and overreach. And I believe that certainly there's been a good cautionary tale on that on a lot of fronts if you do a little bit of research.
Commissioner Giobi.
Yes, my question is for the city attorney. Okay. So we have this code, and a one-time exception does not negate the code. I mean, we're making a one-time exception. Would that not be true?
Correct. I mean, that's why it's a conditional use. If you make a one-time exception, it doesn't mean you have to, the floodgates don't open. You got to let everybody in. They still have to go through the same process.
Right. So this commission or another commission, I think that everyone in the room and everyone on this dais want downtown Stewart to remain unique as it is. But I've been to the spice and tea stores, and I think they are unique. I think that they would bring another element of people into downtown. I would like to see a few restrictions, and I've spoken to the corporate headquarters, which they're not adverse to what I had asked. And but I think that's the only thing I have to say right now.
Thank you. Commissioner Clark.
Hi, thank you. I probably should have talked to staff before, but I thought that maybe they would have looked at the history. But I definitely know that when we had the Go Fish clothing that came into the area, the same kind of discussion came up. And because of so many unique characteristics of the marketing and how they procure their goods and how they do things and the purpose in which they do it, especially the community-oriented purpose. All those things were taken into consideration at the time when we had Go Fish come in here. I think their closest store was in Melbourne or something, but because of what they do basically for the world, it was important to have them here in Stewart, and they were approved to be a part of the historic area. So yes, we do have names. It's not Starbucks, it's not McDonald's, but that's why we have the criteria and the ability to vet them and agree with whom we let into that area. And I think that this will be an advantageous business for our downtown and for the flavor and the ambiance of what we want and have and try to create and keep in our downtown area.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions from the commission? Does the petitioner wish to offer any additional information before concluding its presentation? Commissioner Reed?
Yeah, I had a question. What restrictions, I guess, can we talk about the restrictions, Commissioner Giovi?
Yes, we can.
Certainly.
What were the restrictions?
Well, when I spoke to corporate, the restriction was there would not be, not only just the Gordons, but there would not be another spice and tea franchise opened up in Stuart. That's one thing, having it downtown, but the Gordons wouldn't be able to, and another franchise person going to Spice and Tea would not be able to open up in the Stuart.
In Stuart or just a historic area?
No, in Stuart.
Okay, so you're.
In the city,
Southeast.
citywide.
Yeah, citywide, cannot open it. It would be unique to
Is that
downtown.
a
It would be,
trade?
if you wanted that product, you'd have to go downtown to buy it.
We allowed Commissioner Giovi to conclude her remarks before you answer a question.
Okay.
I have a question on that.
Okay.
And this might be for the applicants. That restriction of not allowing any in Stuart, what's the franchise? How far away does each franchise have to be from the next for? How
I
far
spoke
away?
to Tatum Cruz, and she said if you wanted to put a restriction within the
No,
town.
that's not answering
Oh,
it. So
I don't
like,
know.
it actually might help you then,
Oh, duh.
that condition, by the way, because what happens is you'd be the only one in downtown Stuart. but someone-
Non-compete.
Yes, someone else. could,
Correct.
Yeah.
That's basically helping
Right. It would-
the applicants,
they
because they
would
are
be
independently owned. That's why I was curious. And I would like to think that the franchise, they won't allow you within, they don't have any limitations, so they don't protect their.
There's a limitation, I'm not sure the exact number off the top of my head, but
Come to the
they have
microphone.
the first right to say no, and the franchise would not vote.
Can you come to the mic, please?
Can you come forward to the podium, please?
I figured they wouldn't allow it, but that restriction would be a benefit to you guys.
So,
And to us.
We're getting too deep.
so yeah, so
It's business.
the franchise would not allow another store to come into the city, just like he wouldn't come to Mount Dora and say, hey, we're going to put a store 5 miles up the road. They're just not going to do that. And
They want to protect you.
they want to protect us, and they want to protect the brand. They don't want two stores within a certain area competing with each other. And then they have two stores that are not
They
successful.
want you to succeed and be
They want
successful.
one store that's going to be successful in that area. So
Thank you.
Commissioner, I'm going to, you have additional information regarding your comment?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Right. Even though the franchise allows it, I mean, in 5 years, 10 years, the franchise could change their code of what they allow and what they don't. That's why I'd like it, the restriction to be at the city level. So that would be protecting that downtown, historic downtown would have the only spice and tea in the city of Stuart.
We like the unique factor being preserved locals. Appreciate your outreach to corporate.
Perhaps you want to make a motion and make sure it includes that, Commissioner Giovi.
Yes, when the motion
Okay.
is made.
Commissioner Clark, do you have a question of Mr. Baggett regarding that restriction?
Do you telescope my question? No. No.
I'd like to address Commissioner Giovi's.
Yeah, please.
I asked
Go
the
ahead.
question first.
So the franchise is not an applicant here. You can't bind the applicant, you can bind the applicant from opening up a second a second store within the city, but I don't think you can bind
Franchisor.
the franchise or someone else that wants to open up a tea and spice in the city. It just,
We'll take
they're not here. You're not binding, it's the development orders between their company and themselves and the city.
And if they met code,
So
why can't they?
And I,
Thank you.
I mean,
Somewhere else in the city doesn't have the same restrictions as downtown. That
But on
was the
what
reason.
grounds would you prevent another not even an applicant, a business owner of Spice and Tea, a franchisee, from building if they met code or opening up if they met code? You can't.
Well, as I said, the corporate headquarters had no, they were fine with putting that restriction in. So they're actually saying that if you did that, then they wouldn't even offer a franchise
do
to
that.
anyone in the area outside of, within the city of Stuart.
But it couldn't happen at the city level, I think is Lee's point. That's
think
something
Commissioner-
corporate might be
I
interested
think
in.
Commissioner Clark continue to ask her questions regarding this.
I say let the corporate control their own thing with their own people. They know what they're doing in their business model to make successful spice and tea exchanges. But with regard to us dictating things happening in the county or somewhere else.
No, just in the
or-
city.
or outside of this formula district or downtown, I just say, they'll do what they need to do. I think we're fine. Lee's answer is correct.
Are there any other questions or comments? Does the petitioner wish to offer any additional evidence? Or information?
The only thing I will say is
Have to come to the.
Yeah.
Sorry. Just one more thing, because my husband mentioned something about the franchise doubling. I just wanted to let you know that if we move forward and open in Stuart, we will be the only Spice and Tea that has opened the entire year. That gives you a perspective about the franchise, like growing or doubling or whatever.
So he was optimistic.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the presentation of evidence has ended and the hearing is closed. Mr. Crumpler, you may return to your seat. Does any member of the public wish to make a comment? Do we have any public comment on this?
I do. I have Mark Breckville.
It's the trifecta this evening, Mr. Breckbill.
Hey, thanks. I don't usually do this. I don't do this many times. Mark Breckville, 406 Southeast Penny Drive, Stuart, Florida. The reason I wanted to speak tonight a little bit is because of the struggle that we had at the CRB level. And Chris, you hit it kind of on the head in terms of, I think you're going through some of the same things that all of our members went through. And we voted 4-2 against allowing them in. But the two that voted for them, it was really because it's better to have a great business like they obviously have than an empty window. You know, so when you really boil it down, it all came to the same conclusion, which was, you know, do we encourage a business that could succeed to come downtown or not? And my problem with the thing, and I think some of the other members, is that the criteria, that first criteria, has you mentioned, Chris, it has nothing in it that allows you to use any kind of other than an arbitrary type of conclusion. And I don't care what an attorney says. When an attorney tells me there's no precedent set by an action that a board takes, I can tell you that's probably not going to be the case. And, you know, the bottom line is, this is going to, you know, how do you've got a corporate franchise that has over 92 locations around the United States in all the major high-end cities. You know, how do you keep somebody else that's got 92 franchises from coming in? How do you say to Ruth's Chris, you can't go into the corner down here and take over? You know, our anchor stores are the restaurants. But, you know, so what I think we're looking at is, you know, is not this situation. Everybody loved them, and I love them as owners. I mean, that was no question about that. The issue is, what is the next one? And what I would say is, we all looked around at one point in time and saw all these apartments, and we said, how the heck did that happen? Well, I'm telling you, my problem is that is going to force out. If I've got 4 franchises, I've got 4 places to smooth my income. And if all of a sudden we have a rainy May in Stuart, maybe I had a good sunny in Mount Dora. You know what I mean? So we're creating a situation where the next level has to be a larger store that's got multiple locations, and it's going to force out the small mom and pops. Now, that's not always bad. I remember when we had people in downtown that the shops were open from 10:30, 11 o'clock until 5 in the afternoon, and everybody went home, and it wasn't open on Saturday and wasn't open on Sunday. And when the rents went up, those people couldn't afford to do that anymore. And so that created a better environment for downtown. So I'm not saying it's necessarily good or bad, but anyway, that was the consideration.
Thank you.
Bill Moore.
Good evening, Commissioners. Bill Moore, owner of Kilwin's Chocolates and Ice Cream downtown. So I am one of those franchises. I came in 2000, so I didn't have to deal with any of this. But to a few of the things that have been said tonight, so the ordinance did come in 05, right? So, and we've had businesses come and go. Some have come, some have stayed that are franchises that were approved, Go Fish being one of them, Monkeys being another one. And we haven't seen the onslaught of franchise type operations wanting to get down to Stuart. I think our size is unique in that, you're not going to get a Ruth Chris. They're not going to come into a market that's this small. There are a lot of other concepts one. I would say Starbucks would never want to be in downtown Stuart without a drive-through. We're just not a big enough market for them. You'll see it in Chicago, in places like that. So what makes us unique is our size, and then you do need niche businesses. Kilwins is a niche business. We don't work in a strip center. Never. We're a foot traffic driven. We got to be surrounded by 20 or 25 restaurants for us to survive and thrive. But so those are just, we've had this ordinance for 20 years, and we've had exceptions made, we've had waivers made, and they've been waived for the uniqueness of the business, the 300 feet and such. So, rarely, one of the things I want to say, we have no idea if they don't go in, what could come in. It could be good, bad, fantastic. We just don't know. We don't want another, and I don't think Max would do this to us, but, it could happen in any spot in downtown. We could get another one of these creameries where you're assaulted on the street every day by those people that come out and try to put cream on your face and offer you stuff. I mean, they drive us all crazy. They violate the codes. They put their umbrellas out over and over again. These guys would be good, tenants. They would be good neighbors. I can just feel that from meeting them. So, I'll just close with this. Rarely does a commission get a chance to actually help kind of pick a business to come into downtown Stuart. And tonight you guys have that chance. And I think these guys would complement what we already have. That's, a lot of people have said, like we heard earlier, that clothing store. And, this could answer that question. So thanks, guys.
Lillian Peterson.
Hi, I'm Lillian Peterson. I have 2 stores here in downtown Stuart, Argento Jewelry and Anna Capri. We have been here since 2002, and we've seen a lot of changes happen here on the street. And when we first came, there were a lot of empty spots. They did get filled, some come and go, and we did see, some succeed and some not. But I feel that over the last few years, we had a lot of stores that really stayed, and then now we have some empty stores, and it doesn't look good for downtown. And I think that the Tea and Spice Exchange is a good fit, a really good fit for downtown. They offer something different. They offer, they do classes in there. They teach. I think that people are going to want to bring their family down and say, hey, I was downtown last week, and there's this cool spice and tea shop. It's not just tea. They have, they rub spices on like the meats, and they teach you how to do things, and they do it right. And the other tea place that was here, Chris, the Tea and Spice Exchange, I was in it many times. I knew one of the girls that worked there. It didn't work because they didn't do it right. That's the bottom line. They didn't put all of the stuff out on the wall correctly. They went in and they had just like brown shelves and white walls, and these people, you see their videos, they do it right. They do it the way it should be done. You go in and it's an experience. They had a smaller spot there, the Tea and Spice, and then they enlarged it a little. And then, it got a little difficult, and they were in the spot where Monkeys is, and it's not right on the strip where they are, where we are. It does make a difference. It really does make a difference. And, they had double the rent now, and then they had some family problems, and it didn't work. But it doesn't mean that the product wasn't good product. It's a great product, and people today, they really like getting something different, and they can be, oh, look at this I got. They didn't bring it this time, but last time they were here, they brought in their little samples, and they passed it around. You could smell it all, and it was nice. I was like, oh, this is like being on the Shark Tank. These guys are trying to sell this, and it's like, wow, they're doing a great job. So I was hoping then that we could have them come, because they really are going to bring something different. And we need to get this downtown. We have some empty spots, and there are a few people, 2 stores now that I know of now, that are going to be leaving. If we have 5 empty storefronts, people aren't going to want to come down here. We need to make them want to come to downtown Stuart. We have a unique place, and it just keeps changing. But, if they're going to be an asset that, they're going to be open, different hours, they'll be open a little later, they're going to be open on weekends, and, they're going to teach their help correctly, and, You're going to come, and your wife's going to come, and you're going to say,
Way too much money.
why didn't we do this sooner?
Will you allow?
You're going to want to have them to come sooner, and they will make a difference for downtown. They will make a really good difference. Thank you.
Gail Goldie.
Okay, we'll talk afterwards.
Good evening, Commissioners. Gail Goldie, 1153 Northwest 12th Terrace in Stuart. I just want to say, I think that this store, this Tea and Spice, is a beautiful idea. It's merchandised beautifully. But I would also like to say, I've been in all 50 states and hundreds of downtowns. And I'm really concerned about losing the uniqueness of our downtown when you get into franchises. I remember back in the 80s when I was in San Diego, and there were Subways were popping up all over in San Diego, and so were Starbucks. I enjoyed coming home because we didn't have that here. There was no uniqueness out there. And I'm really afraid that that's what's going to happen here. I think, as I said, they have a beautiful, beautiful plan. I think it looks wonderful. My concern is, as Commissioner Collins mentioned, about changing the 300-foot requirement. Because once we start making exceptions, that sticks the foot in the door, and then the door slowly keeps opening and opening and opening. I'm afraid that one day downtown Stuart is going to be one franchise after another. I don't know how many franchises the couple here purchased when they bought the franchise, because years ago, I don't know if it's still the same, but when you purchase a franchise, you also have an option of buying a footprint for an area. And I don't know what their plans are for the future of opening any others after this. And regarding Mount Dora does not allow franchises. However, there's a franchise there. And I just am really concerned about that continuing to happen. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Clay Scherer.
Good evening, Commissioners. Clay Shower, 200 Southeast Four Winds Drive, Stuart. I come to you this morning, as you know, I'm a member of the CRB, but...
It's not morning, Mr. Scherer.
Oh, sorry, good evening.
I mean, our meetings are long. They're not that long.
Yeah, it does feel like it sometimes. But I come to you as just a simple little guy, resident, not a member of the CRB. I was unable to attend the CRB meeting, so I was not part of the discussion vote. But I've just, my only background on this is listening to the discussion here at this hearing tonight, and I think it's been very interesting. And part of it is your role is to interpret the intent. Ooh, that's tricky. The intent of the code and the rule and so on, right? So I would just offer that, you know, the rules around, the regulations around formula businesses in downtown, I think we can understand why that exists and what the intent of the folks who put the rule in place. The examples of Starbucks or McDonald's and so on, those are pretty clear, as Commissioner Reed mentioned. This one appears quite different, and actually you've heard quite a bit about folks who like the offer of the retailer. They would enjoy it. You don't hear those kinds of things about the other sort of franchises that the rules were intended to prevent. So from my standpoint, I think you're in a tricky spot. You have to make the decision, but for the if you're trying to interpret the intent, I think actually for this applicant, it's pretty clear. Just because there's multiple locations, just because it's an owner who has multiple locations or it's a corporate entity, that's what's meeting that formula definition, I guess. But if you think about the intent of the shop and what's going to be offered and will it contribute to the community, it's all clear, right? It's exactly the kind of offering that the community would enjoy. It just so happens to be
part of it, a larger corporate entity. So I think your role is to interpret the intent at this point. Something else I'd mention, 2 other points, so I don't forget. I think there is still confusion, and I would ask either the city attorney or maybe the city staff can clarify. There's been a lot of discussion around the 300 feet. There is confusion in this room right now over what the intent of that is, or 300 feet what? What from what 300 feet? So the way I've read the code, and as I heard the presentation, the intent was to prevent folks within 300 feet of downtown. There's already 2 that are already there. So two formula businesses. So it's off the table at this point, whether it's 2 feet close or 50 feet or 100, it doesn't matter. They are within the downtown. So sort of takes that off the table in my view. The other point I'll make, and then I'll be quiet, is if you think about the intent again, I don't, you guys might see it differently, but I don't think those 2 existing businesses that we referred to, Duffy's or Kilman's, I don't think they have destroyed downtown or the sense, right? So if you consider it to be similar to that, the current applicant, and that is our hope, right, with their offerings that we find very appealing, I don't think they are going to potentially destroy downtown with the application. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have Bailey Cape.
Hello, I'm Bailey. I work at 13 Southeast Osceola Avenue. I'm speaking on behalf of my colleagues at Billfish Beauty Bar, and we think that Spice and Tea Exchange would be a great opportunity for downtown Stuart. It would complement the businesses around us as well as our business, because a lot of people would like to come in and have coffee and tea while they get their hair done. We also it would also draw visitors downtown and help preserve the qualities that still make downtown Stuart special. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have no further comments, Mayor.
Excuse me?
I have no further comments.
Okay, the parties, do you wish to provide any closing remarks, the applicant? No? Okay. Then I'm looking for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, with regard to...
Mr. Mayor, I just one question for the city attorney.
Okay, we'll do it in the context of a motion as...
Well, it's about what the wording in the motion is.
I need to make a motion, but okay.
Well, I want to ask the question. Is it okay?
Okay, go ahead. Okay.
Okay, does it make a difference if you put a one-time exception? Because you're saying the exception is to Glenn and Kimberly Gordon, the Gordon Enterprises. Does it matter when you're making the motion if you say it's a one-time exception? Just to reiterate that we're not making a clear removal of these exceptions, we're stating the exceptions for this particular.
It's always
I think
as to this person.
Right.
I think you're stating that publicly now, and it's in the record.
It's always as to that.
Well, I know, but does it need, do I need to put it in the motion, or does it matter? I guess that's the
It's
question.
implicit in the...
Yeah, okay. All right.
Is that correct, Mr. Baggett? It's implicit. It's explicit now.
All right, so...
Conditional use.
It's always as
Yes,
to
it is a
that
conditional,
particular
every
request.
time, so I think that this is not unlocking the floodgates per se. Anybody who wants to bring in a formula business is going to have to go through this process. which-
Yeah.
Okay, so then it
It's not
doesn't really
easy.
matter.
It's for each application.
And at some point, if you decide to waive the 300 feet, you either take a stand today and say no more, or it's the next one, or at some point, the board's going to say no more. Whether that's tonight or on another applicant that comes in, so.
Thank you, I just wanted
Sure.
clarification. So if you want to make the motion, go ahead.
And before I make a motion, I'd like to say that I think if what the commissioners are saying is that they may want to talk or workshop criteria for conditional use change within the formula-based area for downtown, and I think that's another subject for another area, but whenever this kind of thing comes up, the only reason why it's in front of us is because It's as to this particular application and as to how we want to interpret it and work with the intent. And I think Kilwins has been up here and we've talked about feet and inches and whatnot, and we know what's down there and what the complementarity is of what the business are, and that's how we look at things. But if we need to workshop something like that and make any changes, I think Commissioner Reed mentioned that something like that was not talked about during the ZIP. That's why we're here. We can talk about things anytime, any day, and
for your
come up with it.
motion.
I'm going to come up with a motion. With regard to resolution, well, we spend so much time talking about, well, I won't say Shakespeare at all. I won't mention Shakespeare. Starts with much about something. Resolution number 98, 2025, as presented by staff, the wording as shown with the special use exception. I move approval as to Glenn and Kimberly Gordon with Gordon Enterprises Stuart LLC as recommended by staff.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Clark and a second by Commissioner Giobi. As the maker of the motion, Commissioner Clark, do you have any additional comments you'd like to make with regard to this?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do any of the other commissioners have any questions or comments? I think we've sort of had our discussion.
I have none.
You have none.
I have none.
Mayor. Well, seeing none, I will ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Commissioner Giobi?
Yes.
Commissioner Reed?
Yes.
Commissioner Clark?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Collins?
No.
Mayor Rich?
Yes. Motion passes. Congratulations. Seeing no other items for our consideration, the meeting is adjourned.
Who said thank God?
Who said
It's
that?
about the meeting, not about, nothing to do, well, I don't know, maybe it has to do with us. We're adjourned.
Mr. City Manager?
So we'll see you tomorrow in your red, white, and blue.
Fall asleep. No, I didn't.
Hey, I
I am taking.